Welcome to today's planetary forecast. We go from new moon to new moon. You know, this lunar cycle was like, what was that, 726 to 823? And then we got a whole bunch of really cool celestial events happening in between. We're gonna get into Lionsgate being one of them. We're gonna get into that. Um, and of course, I do a tarot spread because I haven't done a hump day reading in a little bit. Give you guys, a modality or elemental tarot reading thing situation. Because I haven't been here so long, I wanted to get into the other horoscopes from different cultures with you guys too. So let me pull out my handy dandy notebook. I gotta move you back, guys, a little bit. My space is a little limited. Sweet you and me, and me. Gotta pull out my notebook. What's on your altar? All right. Eventually, this will be a published book. We'll see. We don't know yet. Anyway, so when we get into the other cultures and their horoscopes, how they choose to tell their time, as far as the Egyptian culture goes, they do like 3 seasons a year. They have 4 months for each season, which is pretty cool. Right now we're in the month of Pamanat, which is the last month of the harvest season, which is Shamu. You know, the new year is in September, around the equinox, the autumn equinox. That's, for a lot of cultures, as well as the Federal Reserve. They also have their new year in September as well. So it's really just the Gregorian calendar and some other little things that do Janus or January as their new year. But coming back to this conversation, because y'all know I'm good for the spirals, I'm good for the tangents, and we do have some Gemini things going on near my Mars Gemini, so we're not gonna get too caught up. I'm gonna try to keep myself, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so they have, we are in the month of Pamanat. This is the month where we like go back, we look at, our harvest, our agricultural year. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure you guys share, let your friends know I be out here doing the planetary forecast. But you have you look back at what you've manifested this year, in this year of 9. And like I said, for some of you guys, the new year is in September around the equinox, which is cool because we have another eclipse happening. Welcome back to the eclipse season. That's exciting too. Something else we'll talk about. Probably not in this planetary forecast too much because I don't want to give y'all too much ahead. We'll probably do that the next planetary forecast. This one we're going to focus on Lionsgate a little bit, give y'all a little insight astronomically, astrologically, and all that fun stuff. But let's rewind back again. But yeah, we look back at how you guys spent this year, your crops, your growth, and not just like physical. We did use astrology more than anything for growing crops, for our agriculture, because at some point in time, that's all that people did was they slept and woke up and tended to their crops and their flocks. And so they used the planets to tell the time as they did so. As, humans became more, complex, and they wanted more complex things, and people were doing more than just farming. Now you got taxes, and now you got military, and now you got artisans, and now you got different things going on. People want to complex it up, you know what I'm saying, press the hard button. And in the process of doing that, they started to use the clocks, the horoscopes for different things as they started to do different things. So you can look at your agricultural, background in this year or whatever, however way you want to look at it. You can look at it as growth in your business, growth in your family, growth within yourself, growth within your bloodline, growth within, the different facets of yourself. You're, a multifaceted being. You can talk about your physical self and your health journey, whether you're eating or exercising. You can talk about your mental health self. You can talk about your self-discipline, the voices in your head, how well you compartmentalizing and dealing with those. All of those things you just look back and do and think about how well you've cultivated those aspects in this past year. Now, when we break it down from the months are divided into decans, which are 10-day weeks, and each deity rules over a decan, right? Excuse me. So right now, from let me find it. from We're in the beginning of August. Where is it? Okay, we're in the decade of Thoth. That's where we're at. And we're here from April 1st to 19th. And then, I mean, April. No. See? Not paying attention. My bad. Hold on. That's not it. Wrong A. I know we got Horus next, so. There we go. We're in Sekhmet. Haha. Hey, Calvin. How you doing? Girl, I just farted. Listen, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? Hopefully it didn't stink. So we were in Sekhmet from July 29th to August 11th. This is the Goddess of War. Y'all know I'm big on Sekhmet. I got her energy everywhere. Two sides, being disciplined and easygoing, that perfectionist energy. This is a good sense of justice. And then after we get out of Sekhmet, we'll be in the energy of Thoth. Not Thoth. The energy of, I want to be in Thoth so bad. Then we'll be in the energy of Jeb. Oh, Jesus Christ, sunshine. Just stick to Sekhmet, right? Sekhmet the Horus, and then we go on. So then we go to Horus, which is the God's sky. So that is when we're dealing with, hey, how you doing, Robin? That's when we're dealing with the Kemetic calendar. That's how they do their days and months and years and decades and stuff like that. Right now, if you get into the Zodiacs, the Zodiac rules the mind. This is how you think things to be, you know. And then we get into the sidereal or the Vedic, the constellation. This is when we get into the actual events and happenings of the place. So we have that. Right now we're in Leo Zodiac, so our mindset is on the sun, you know, being center of attention, our confidence and courageousness, our creativity, our romantic self, being self-centered, our experiences. Everybody wants to go out and experience things, express things, be extroverted. That's all Leo energy. That's in our mind. In the events, energy exchanges of things, we're still in Cancer energy, still in that home and family, nurturing, nourishing, intuition, emotions, going inward. So we have that balance because Cancer rules over the internal side of the third eye. Leo rules over the external side of the third eye when we get into the chakras and breaking down the astrological signs into our chakras. So we're simultaneously having our experience and experience right now. We will be in Cancer constellation for another week or so. I hope that all is well and swell on your side. Thank you. Hey Vaughn, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the gift too. So I love the positive energy. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all energy. When y'all be stepping in, y'all be listening. It's a great time here. We love here. So we have that balance between the inside and the outside of third eye. It's fun here. When we get into the West African horoscope, from here, we are closing out the energy of the judge. That ends on August 4th, so we got like 2 more days here. This is being understanding and listening to others, having a primitive desire, being tapped into that primitive desire, great sense of duty and good conscience, great mediators, willpower, drive, authority, and initiative. Be mindful of egotistical traits and needing alone time. That kind of coincides with some of like the Leo energy of like always having an opinion on other things but not being willing to receive opinions and stuff, because you know the sun, which is what Leo is based on, the sun gives off the light, you know what I'm saying? You know, the way we think about the sun, we rarely think about the sun receiving light, and we're going to get into that when we talk about Lionsgate. We're going to get into the sun actually receiving light, and hopefully it brings a balance to some of that Leo energy to some of y'all. Hey Goddess, how you doing? Happy Sunday. And so like I said, we're only there till August 4th. And then we go into the Kola Nut. We're in the Kola Nut from August 5th to September 3rd. The happiest and most optimistic, sensual, greedy, fun. Be mindful with the lacking of the boundaries. And mastering your passions is definitely a key there. And that's the energy for the West African horoscope. When we get into American Indian astrology or horoscope, they have 4 clans. The 4 clans represent the 4 elements, you know, earth, air, fire, and water. Right now we are in um, we're in between the woodpecker, which would be considered Cancer, and the salmon, which would be considered Leo. The woodpecker is sensitive and protective, caring. Um, Caring nature can be a virtue or a vice, and that's when we get into the underactive and the overactive Cancer's energy, because you can be so loving and nurturing and nourishing that you can suffocate. Have you ever heard of watering your plants too much? Cancer is a cardinal water energy. It does take it, it is the initiative of the waterer. So you got to be mindful, like, you're the first person to give water. You don't want to give too much, and then you also don't want to hold in too much either, because water holds memory, right? Water holds messages. You get into that experiment where when you're talking to the glass of water and the different, like, I can't talk right now, the atomic makeup, how they're built. You're speaking to the atoms of the water, right? And so, with water, all water signs, not just Cancer, but also Pisces, and especially Scorpio, because Scorpio is fixed water, and that's why right now, as we, go through or went through the Scorpio moon, it was all about cleansing and letting go baggage. It's because you're letting go of a lot of those messages that have been sitting in the water. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be mindful of that. All that to say, too much water, you can suffocate, you can drown, you can, over nurture, you can debilitate. You ever heard of, doing so much for somebody that you kind of like take on their karma? You keep trying to solve their problems for them and all that stuff like that. And you end up eating the stuff that they were supposed to eat up to give them their strength. And now they still sitting over there weak bodied, and you over here dragging yourself because you're taking on your stuff and somebody else's. This is most likely the energy of people who say that they are empaths and they have an issue with controlling their empathy. It's probably an overactivity in their water placements, and they're holding too many messages in their water, and they're not doing any cleansing. And so we come into that with them there. You guys are starting to eat people's karma, trying to be not trying to be, you are being an empath, but you're not, balancing that ability too well. So be mindful and learn how to let go. Just let it go. Salmon energy is creative journey at least once in a life, focus and determined, strengths of logic and detachment. So utilize that salmon energy to help teach some level of attachment, right? The planets are up to 8, used to be 9, but Pluto got fired. They always firing Pluto. Pluto get fired and hired again. But then you have this concept called dwarf planets, and they have actually found a ninth planet that is actually past Pluto. Go figure that, right? Planets are always being founded. There's way more than 9 planets. You also have the Kuiper belt, where the theory is that there was a planet there once upon a time and it exploded into all these little pieces. So now we have the Kuiper belt with a bunch of, like, dwarf planets and asteroids and the meteors and all that stuff like that. So that's another one. But yeah, we have way more than 9 planets. Way more. We focus on the 9 just like we only focus on the 7 chakras, or we only focus on the 12, or we only focus on the 7. We have this obsession with certain numbers that give us certain things certain ways. But yeah, I don't know what that is. Hey Adonis, peace to the God. When we get into the alchemist horoscope, we are in the year of 9. When you utilize the year of 9, we get to gold. We are in the year of gold. If we want to add up the whole day, because today is 829, today is mathematics. Today is a day of wisdom on the path of knowledge. So wisdom is, when you've exercised your knowledge already, right? You start coming up with the data and stuff. So 2, and we're in the month of 8, Sabet, compartmentalizing, analyzing, classification. This is the celestial technician. So we put the wisdom to the classification. So classifying some of the things you've experienced already today is the key, right? That brings us to knowledge in our cipher. That's 10. It also brings us down to Jed, Malkuth, earth energy. So this is not just something that's going on up here. It's also something you'll be experiencing on the earthly realm. We put that 1 into the year of 9. Why is this the year of 9? Glad you guys asked. I know some of you guys here are new. Not everybody is always here. Welcome, welcome. 9 has been calculated by us being in the year 2025. wisdom in our cipher, because 2 is wisdom, 0 is cipher, and wisdom in our power, because 2 is wisdom and 5 is power. 5 deals with our solar plexus chakra, our Jabor, our celestial enforcer. Last year, when we were in the year of 8, 2024, we were dealing heavily with the 4, the chesed, creating our divine law. Last year, you guys might have gotten, face to face with a lot of challenges, compliments, communities, relationships, interpersonal bonds, contracts, whatever, that helped you develop a personal law and order and self-discipline for yourself. That was your chesed, that was your mayat, that was your internal law. This year, you are learning how to enforce it. Now you're experiencing experiences that put you in places to enforce that internal law you created last year. You said, I ain't gonna deal with this no more. I'm not dealing with that no more. I want this, more of this in my life. I want more of that in my life. This is the kind of discipline I need to have. This is the kind of mindset I need to have. This is the kind of moral code I need to have, etc., etc. Now, in this year of 9, the year of giving birth, not only we are in the 2025, so now it's time to enforce those things that you created last year. And we move in gratitude for the opportunity to do so. Alchemy horoscope deals with numerology the mostest. It deals with calculating the day, which is why I got into 1. So if you get into, hey Neek, if you get into, you know what's so funny? We have the same nickname because my name is Nika. The day is 1, which is silver. And this is about being seductive, independent, attack without thought. My dog can hear my voice, so he's like, oh, she in the house. Oh, snap. What's goody in the hoodie? What's up with you, Arrow? What's up with you? Happy Sunday, y'all. Being seductive, independent, attack without thought, embracing all forms and dimensions of freedom. Now, when we get into just the year, being in the year of 9, we are in the year of gold. This is the year of Jubilee. We talked about it a little bit yesterday when I was reading the Torah. We just happened to come across the book of the chapters in Leviticus. I can't talk again. The chapters in Leviticus that get real deep into it being the year of Jubilee and how to conduct ourselves in the different years, which is cool. So the Bible also gets into numerology, even though in the same breath it says don't get into spirits and blah. But even when I'm telling you not to do it, I'm about to show you wop this, that, and the third. So, that's that happening there, whatever. So we are in the year of gold, being passionate, interesting, and faithful people, attracting many people, generous, kind, long and lasting relationships, love of luxury, and spending money, ambition, and willpower. And that's in the year that we're in right now. If I get into I didn't do today's mathematics today. I will probably do it later, and that's okay. Thank you for retracting your message, because I know that was full of ish. But I do know that we are at a 29. We started the day off in a 17 degree Scorpio moon. We are on today's the 3rd, right? So we're in 3 degrees Scorpio. So when we get into the constellation, remember the constellations is the energy exchange. That's why a lot of you guys get into nakshatras and Vedic astrology, and you're like, oh my God, this is way more accurate. It's way more accurate because tropical deals with your mind. And a lot of stuff that's going on in your mind is not what's happening in the outside of you in the constellations, right? So when you see the difference between the two, So even though the sun is over here giving our mindset Leo experiences, I'm thinking Leo experiences or whatever, my energy exchanges are still in Cancer. Some of you guys are still inside. Some of y'all not going nowhere. Some of you guys still dealing with your emotions and stuff like that. Now, when we get into the nakshatras, every 13 degrees is a lunar mansion. The moon moves about 12 to 12 and a half degrees in a day. All right. So we experience 1 to 2 lunar mansions in a day because the way the hours of the sunrise to the sunfall, it splits us between 2 lunar mansions. So, we get to experience 2 lunar mansions in a day. Peace to y'all that's actually ruled by the moon heavily. I only have 1 Cancer placement, and that's my Chiron, and that's where it can stay. But we move out of the 16th lunar mansion, which actually ends right at 3 degrees Scorpio. This is the Visakha Nakshatra. Some positive traits is being religious, intelligent, humanitarian, truthful, courageous. Some negative traits, if you have an overactivity in this nakshatra, is being manipulative, deceitful, greedy, harmful, talkative. Padas. You divide 13 by 4. You get into the 4 padas. And that's kind of like how you get into the zodiacs. and you divide them by the three modalities. When you divide the nakshatras and the padas, now you're getting into the stars. I don't get into the padas too much. No particular reason why not. What I do, if you guys notice when you're listening to my daily mathematics, is I get into what the actual star is. Because stars give off electromagnetic energy, right? And each electromagnetic energy is different. Just like you have your own personal electromagnetic energy and all the different things that, align. So what am I? I don't know what you are. You should know what you are. That's not my job. What I do here is I facilitate conversation and energy exchanges that help you answer that question. That's not a question for me to answer. Then we move into the 17th lunar mansion. This goes from 3 degrees Scorpio to 16 degrees Scorpio. So we'll be here all day, That's the Anuradha Nakshatra. Some positive traits is being spiritual, devoted, wise, fun-loving, well-educated, healthy, and vigorous. Some negative traits is being deceitful, rebellious, emotionally needy, jealous, and melancholic. So, how balanced you are in that nakshatra is up to you. Now, when we are in that nakshatra of Scorpio, you guys know we come across mostly the stars, what's that? Graphius and Teshubha, which gives off the energy of Saturn and Mars. Lots of challenges to y'all solar plexus chakra. I woke up this morning to crazy ass messages on my Facebook and my text messages. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I don't know what's wrong with, people feeling comfortable with calling me out my name. More peace to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't really got to do too much because the energies around me have already declared you miserable. That's why you feel comfortable projecting that shit upon me. Hey, you got it, baby. Some of y'all was very overactive in that energy today, and you got it. At the end of the day, we will be near Ant Aries. Ant Aries is a little bit more calm. We get away from that Saturn and Mars, and we get more into the Jupiter Mars. Still dealing with the solar plexus chakra, but however, Saturn is way more harsh and rigid than Jupiter is. Jupiter is more about expansion and abundance. But if you have not controlled your solar plexus chakra and you still think it's okay to control people outside of yourself, you trying to control people, things, situations, experiences, relationships, mindsets. You trying to tell people where they from. You trying to tell people who their ancestors are. You trying to tell people what law and order they should be following. You trying to tell people what ancient dead person they should be following behind, who ass they should be kissing. You have an overactive solar plexus chakra and you need to fix it. Okay? That shit ain't welcomed here. You do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. You found a group of people who have weak solar plexus chakras and they allow you to talk to them any kind of way and tell them where they from and tell them who their ancestors are. That's cool. That's cool. That's what works for you and your followers. That shit don't work over here. My name is literally Sunshine. That's literally a solar plexus chakra name. So for people to come over here thinking that they can flex on my solar plexus chakra is wild. I'm not here to flex on nobody's solar plexus chakra either. So if you don't agree with the things that I'm communicating here on my platform, then this information is not for you. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to indoctrinate anybody. I'm not here to convince, debate. I don't do those things. You know what I truly believe in is the power of the mindset. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, that's what it is. If you believe in limitation and control and restriction and somebody got their foot on your neck and your reality is a battlefield and you're fighting a war and there's energies and deities and humans and everything out to get you and you got to be on edge and you're a warrior, guess what? That's the reality you're going to live. You can't convince me to live that reality. I don't live that reality. You live in that shit over there by yourself. You create it. You created it. And you're going to keep attracting stuff that's going to validate that mindset. I'm not. So projecting that onto me doesn't work either. All in all, projecting that onto me does not work either. I believe you when you say you at war. I believe you when you say that somebody is coming out to get you. I believe all of that. You wanna know why? Because you believe it. You believe that's what's happening with you. And as long as you believe it, that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's what's going to keep happening until you decide that you want to believe something else. Okay? And that's something to, keep in mind, especially when you're talking to me. Lana, what's up? Hi, Henry. How you doing? Hey, Sil. What's up with you? All right, so that's what I got on all the horoscopes. Did I go through all the horoscopes? You guys do know we're in the year of the wood snake, right? We've been here since January 2024. We'll be here until the way the that calendar is set up. They go after the first new moon cycle. Like you have a whole full new moon cycle after the winter solstice. That's when they have their lunar new year. And so we are currently in the energy of the wood snake. There is a way to align your east and west horoscope together. Like, I'm a horse, I am also a Virgo. I put the two together, I'm a Virgo horse, you know, etc., etc. Zwatter, look at who's awake. Hey, baby. A period of transformation, creativity, wisdom, and unpredictability. Water, you missed the video game meeting this morning. I told Kevin you were gonna be mad. I was like, yo, he's been wanting to meet with you. He got so many ideas. He was like, I know. He sent me messages. But just to let you know, on Friday evening we will meet again. I don't know if he's still in here. Then yeah. Flexibility and diplomacy. Opportunities amongst the challenges, physical vitality and passion is key here. And also, while you're here, I'll make you a moderator in my group because I like you. And also we're coming into our last days when you get into the Druid calendar. That was something else that I do. My bad, y'all. When you get into the Druid calendar, we are in the last days of Holly, which is the ruler, leadership, confidence, nobility, power, and responsibility are keys on that day too. So we done did all the horoscopes. When y'all know I be reading the Torah, so of course we're gonna go to the Jewish John, and we also are gonna get into the Netherus. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So the zodiac is merely a mechanism that the soul uses to ensure that particular qualities are infused into it at birth. So your hey Daisy. So your astrology charts are actually a result of your life that you lived prior to, you know, coming in and out of, you know, the portals and stuff like that. We don't study astrology to learn people's horoscopes, to learn who you are, whatever. The whole point is to learn how to rise above it, okay? The purpose is to learn about what the planets are doing around you, what kind of energy is going on around you, give grace to the people who are, you know, succumbing to the energy. Like, okay, I see why you're acting like that, because this is going on in that cosmos, and there's something about you that's like, you know, submitting to that, and you're projecting it. Okay, cool. And it don't always got to be negative. Sometimes it could be like, yo, I'm in a good ass mood. Why are you in a good ass mood? Because it's a Virgo moon, and my personal moon is Virgo. You know, I might, you know, organize and compartmentalize stuff. That's how I choose to use that energy. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that. But then there's different kind of Virgo moons. What kind of Virgo moon are you? I'm a Virgo new moon. You know what I'm saying? So when there's a Virgo full moon, that's actually my opposite. You know what I'm saying? So it's different kind of things like that you can get into. You literally are a fingerprint. You have your own clock. It's really like your clock and the clock around you, and the other people, places, things, situation clocks. You got the plants around you clock. There's certain times of the year where certain things taste good to you. Certain times of the year where certain things don't taste good to you, or they don't sit right in your stomach, or they smell weird. When you have certain, like for those of you guys who get pregnant, when you have certain humans in your body, certain things change because not just your clock anymore, it's somebody else's clock in there now. What I like about the Druid calendar is they get into the date of conception. What's the matter? Huh? Hold on one second. My bad. Somebody was knocking on the door. I'm a moderator now. Oh yeah. So the whole point of the horoscope is not to succumb to it, not to utilize it as an excuse for your behavior, but to rise above it, to have awareness of it and to rise above it. And that's what I teach. I think there's a misconception here with how I do horoscopes and zodiacs and astrology versus how other people do it. No dismissiveness, because like I said, your mindset is your power. So if other people think that they succumb and they submit to the stars and they're entities outside of them and they must bow to them and they are not in control, the stars are in control, then that's their reality and that's what's really happening to them. Okay, I'm not here to invalidate or negate or debate anybody's reality. That's what's happening to them. That's not how I conduct my readings. That is not how I conduct my sessions. That is not how I conduct the planetary forecast. I give you guys awareness so you guys can rise above. So, because in my mind, you guys are gods. You guys are alchemists. And you guys have the power to take these electromagnetic fields and alchemize them to your liking. That's what I do, okay? If that's not what you want to do, if that's not what you want to believe in, you don't have to stay here, okay? All right. Anyway, it is a tool. It is a tool. You use the tools, right? We use the tools. You use the tools to tell time. You tell your personal time. You tell the time around you. Frequencies moving up and down, and then your frequency is moving with it. And at the same time, there will be like a space in between. You ever seen like two squiggly lines? Let me see. Where is one going this way? And then I'll do a different color. There's another one going the opposite way. You ever seen squiggly lines that do this? So you got one that's, the energy going around you, and the other one is the energy going within. And in between, see these little bubble places in between? That's the pathway of ease. That's the area where you take your leap, where you take your jump, where stuff starts coming to you real easy. Like, what the hell? And so when you learn the collective clock in alignment with your personal clock, you learn where these bubbles are at, and you learn the patterns of those bubbles, because they have their own patterns too. They have, just like I said, yeah, we get a Virgo moon every 28 days. We get a Virgo moon, but what phase is that Virgo moon in? Because that matters. Because every Virgo zodiac, I drew connected eyes. Hey, you know what? They can be connected eyes because it does bring sight. The sight. These are the placements of sight. Okay? And that's where you can jump in, and whatever it is that you're trying to do gets done. The same thing with the numbers. You get into the numbers, the pinnacles and the periods, and you have your Jupiter return. That's the opening space for you to engage in all things Jupiter. Okay? You have your solar return. That's time to jump into your experience, the window of your experience, and the things that you want to have there, whatever that does for you. So that's how I conduct it. We are going to get into the Sefer Yetzirah again. I don't know why I took a break and read the Torah. I feel like all things happen for a reason. I'm pretty sure when I get back to Sefer Yetzirah after reading the Torah, something probably is going to click different. We don't know. But Sefer Yetzirah is definitely what we're going to read next after I finish the Torah. When we get into Av, because we're in the month of Av right now, according to the Jewish calendar, this is Leo energy. Av is one of the 3 most negative months of the year. The other 2 are Tevet, which is Capricorn. Should I shorten my name? I like your name. Your name is fine. I've seen longer names. The other 2 is Tevet, Capricorn, because it's ruled by Saturn, which is a planet of harsh judgments. And Tammuz, which is Cancer, because it's ruled by the moon, which, it fluctuates. And the moon brings a lot of crazy energy, right? You see people who have sundown issues. Their mental goes a little wonky because the moon is, pulling on them. You've got the full moon attitudes. You got the new moon attitudes. You got people when the moon is in waxing, I don't know what the hell's going on. And when people are in waning, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's a lot going on. Av is the sign of Leo. It is ruled by the sun and the left column of the fire signs. This indicates an added influence of fire, which is expressed as judgments, burning, and consuming fire with no balance. This is the reason we experience a polarity of events, some negative and some positive. In the Book of Formation, it says the letter Tet created Leo and the letter Kaf created the sun. And together we get energetic combination that controls the month of Av and Leo. At the center of our solar system, the sun brings each of the planets light, heat, and life, without which organic life cannot exist. People born in this month are famous or infamous for behaving like the sun. Their trademarks are leadership, determination, domination, and power, and in full force. This combination can lead to the pitfalls of ego and pride. Leos easily fall into perceiving that they are king, and the only control we have is self-control. Any feelings of ego, pride, and superiority can only prevent us from helping others, and that can never be good. I got into that heavy. The only person you can control is yourself. The only person you control is yourself. You can't control experiences, you can't control events, you can't control other people, you can't control your relationships, you can't control your children, you can't control your job, you can't control your employees, you can't control your slaves, you can't control anybody but yourself. Only person you can control. And when your solar plexus chakra is balanced, you will see how asinine it is to even try to communicate a sense of control to someone else. You can't. So don't do it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of space. All you do is overactivate your solar plexus chakra. You're getting into debates, your arguments, now your emotions all over the place. Now you're imbalancing your other chakras because you want the solar plexus chakra to take all the energy. Now it's taking your third eye chakra. Now it's taking over your throat chakra. Now it's taking over your heart chakra. Your heart is palpitating. Now it's taking over your root chakra. You just spitting out a bunch of shit. Now you're about to be embarrassed because you want to get your root chakra to make sure your solar plexus chakra is heard and obeyed. Like, come on now. Your sacral chakra been gone because you been took the fun out of the room when you started doing too much. Like, you cannot control anybody but yourself. The month of Av is known for massive occurrences of negativity that has transpired throughout history during this time. The Spanish Inquisition, the signing of Hitler's final solution, and the destruction of both holy temples in Jerusalem, which all took place in the 9th of Av. We got into the Spanish Inquisition a little bit during Virgo Virgin Talk. I will have those episodes on YouTube real soon. Give me grace, give me space, because I be spaced the fuck out. I ain't gonna hold you. Ain't that I don't have time. I got time. I just be over here like, la, la, la. It could be like, because it's pretty close to iconic. Oh, you want to do acronyms? You can do acronyms. ICOS is a cool one. Don't start changing a bunch of passwords and stuff. I don't got time for that. The number 9, represented by the Hebrew letter Tet, connects us to the Sephirah Yesod, which manifests all the energy that gathered from the upper luminous emanations. Jerusalem was and remains the energy center of the world. And when the people of Israel and the residents of Jerusalem specifically chose not to behave with human dignity toward one another, and this energy was created and accumulated in the Yesod, it had to manifest itself and did so in an explosion of negativity on the 9th day of Av in a deadly short circuit. Excuse me. The 9th day of Av is a fasting day, not because the 2 temples were destroyed, but it is a day that lends itself to calamity. When there is no unity, no minimum of human dignity between people, this negative energy is accumulated and culminates into the 9th of Av. What is the solution? A change of consciousness and behavior. It is very easy to point fingers and blame others, but it is harder to transform oneself and change one's attitude. Be patient, forgiving, and loving. If each of us could perceive ourselves as though we are ticking time bombs and any self-serving action would trigger the fuse, we would be much more careful with our actions and words. The 9th day of Av is a day of destruction, but at the same time, it is the birth of the Messiah. This is where the greatest darkness, therein also lies the biggest potential to reveal tremendous light, but it also depends on our actions. To lessen the judgment of this month, we also have 2 very positive events. You have the 5th day of Av, which is coming up. This is the death anniversary of Rav Isaac Luria, which is the Ari. He chose to leave the world on the 5th day. We got into that heavy the first time we tried to get into Sephirah Yesod, which represents the luminous emanation of Had, which is splendor. That's the 8th Sephirah. That's when we get into Sebek. We are in the 8th month, right? In order to transform Deveh, pouring wheat to Had. The death of the RV, which does not represent the actual physical death, provides us with an opening for awesome light that we can connect to by studying his writings on that night. On the 15th day of Av, this is the happiest day of the year. On this day, both the sun and moon are full. The sun, the positive pole, represents the male aspect of our universe, and the moon, Malkut, the negative pole, represents the female aspect of the universe. When the moon reflects the light of the sun, we receive the power to return light, to give strength, to care, and to love unconditionally. This is why our sages stated that there is no happier day in the year And this rare cosmic opportunity allows us to find our soulmate. The same way the sun and the moon are in harmony to this day, so too can we draw this partnership to our lives. So for those of you guys that are trying to manifest someone into your space, the full moon is a good time to do so. We're going to get into that in a moment. All right. So that's what I have for the Kabbalah, for my followers of the Kabbalah in the back. And then we're going to get into the Netteroos. I want to get into the Netteroos with you. Y'all know that's my go-to book. I love it there. Nuh-uh, I won't, because it's still technically slaughter. I'm trying to manifest a drawing tablet. And you will. And the way that it's moving, it seems like you're going to get your tablet around the Lion's Gate, which, is a divine alignment. I think in this space and time, just be present. Be present, be patient. It's coming. Okay, so... My book is just slowly falling apart. I'm gonna have to get another Let's Netter book, y'all. Ooh, oh my god. I'm still gonna keep this one though, we are moving out of Herakuhuti or Wachet, right? Because the last day of that energy is August 5th. This is when our sympathetic is at its height. The earth is an extreme point of heat absorption and our body has lost excessive amount of moisture. So we've been in the summertime, right? Your extreme lack of moisture or emotional factor has brought you to your point of greatest insensitivity and fearlessness. It is most auspicious for those undertakings that require lack of fear or of bodily harm, hard work, or zeal. As you lack moisture, make sure that you do not engage at this time in protracted undertakings. Be careful. Do not forget to ask what is right. Do not take the exhaustion of your moisture to the limits. Illness will visit you in the north if you do so. Watch your blood pressure. June 21st is the summer solstice, which most auspicious time of the year for your watch it faculty. Read Shakespeare's Midsummer's Night Dream and While the 4 Days and 4 Nights in Sleep, chanting and fasting. Like Bottoms, you will be able to play any role you choose, and Puck, you will make all your desires come true. Your parasympathetic has begun to rise, but it is still underground, putting out less than the sympathetic. So by the time we get here, you guys, we're way past the summer solstice, which is, the longest day of the night, Yes, the longest day of the night. Depends on how you look at life, right? And so now at this point, we are starting to get shorter days, and the nights are slowly getting longer, minute by minute, second by second, however way you want to look at it. And however, we are still being, we still are hot and dry. We're still in the hot and dry energy. We will be in hot and moist, slowly making ourselves to hot and moist, where the emotional aspect is starting to come back in just in time for the harvest season, hurricane season, and and I don't like being cold and moist. Kiss my ass. I don't like it there, but it is what it is. Starting August 5th to September 21st, we'll be in the southwest. This is the Sebek energy, and we get into the 8th Sephiroth. Hey, love, how you doing? Long time no see. The parasympathetic, although it is still underground, it has cooled down our body with the assistance of the waning sun. The cold and dry state of our vehicle makes this point in the cycle most auspicious for those activities that require inflexible pedantry, which is dry, and dispassion, which is cold. These are the technological subjects: trading, accounting, etc. So it's a good time to get into those kind of like Sebek type activities to during this quarter after the 5th. I've been feeling like, I want to get back into trading. I'm about to do some readings, get my bread up, and put it into my trading account, and just get back into doing that again. I've been feeling it real strong, but for some reason it's kind of like double dutch. Like, I'm gonna get back into trading. But I haven't jumped in the ropes yet. But yeah, I feel it. Take your nervines and respiratory system remedies at this point. So please make sure you guys are taking care of your breathing, because y'all know when the fall come back around, the air changes and some of y'all lose y'all breath. And we can't have none of that. We want y'all here. But some of y'all, it's time for y'all to go. But we want y'all here nevertheless. Today is Sunday, so I can get into the Sunday as far as the Netteroos are. Hold on. Like I said, I ain't seen y'all in a minute, so y'all know if I go too long without seeing y'all, when I come up, I'll be coming up, here's everything. This is what I should be doing. I'm going to get back into that routine too. There's a lot of transformations going on around me, which is just a reflection of all the transformations that are going on inside of me right now. And I'm just, a facet of me is exercising stillness during the transformations. And once I get to the end of it, y'all know I'll be back on my routine. Yeah, I love my routines. So on this Sunday, the day is ruled by Heru. This is Michael, Tippereth in the Kabbalah, which is the sixth Sephiroth, right? And then Shango. Oh, that's funny. Bhuvaneshwara is the Hindu Kush deity. The nights getting longer probably is not good for me or my mental. I think a lot at night. Well, you're going to be up all night. In the winter time, I'm usually up all night because nighttime is the majority of the day anyway. What is the summer solstice? The summer solstice is when, you know how every day the sun is at its highest point in the sky for the day, right? When we're in summer solstice, the sun is at its highest point on the Earth's equator for the year. And at this period of time, we have the longest day of the year because the sun is at its highest and it takes the sun extra long to come back down to, to set. During the summer solstice, the Earth tilts at the same time, like it's at a complete tilt to where the southern hemisphere now experiences winter and the northern now experiences summer. Now, that's what has been taught to us. I have my own theories, especially getting more into like shapes of things, the rocks outside, my own little miniature experiments of what I think the outside world looks like outside of this plane. However, that is what it is. Oh no, I hate that. It's fun there. This is the sixth Sephiroth. Sun. The planet is the sun. The day is Sunday. Red and white are the colors. Ruby and garnet are the crystals for the day, and that's fun. As far as for my herbalist in the back, poplar leaves, coxcomb, geranium, bay leaves, rompes ericae, or Vincidor are good for your bath time. Olibanum and geranium are good oils, and incense is frankincense. The mantra or the words of power spiritually is Hrim, Hrim, and that spiritual direction is west. So Hrim, is the Hakal. The planetary, if you want to access the sun, Ong, Hrang, Hrang, Ring, Hring, Hrong, Hraung. That is the Hakal. And you want to face northeast for that one. The energy on the Kabit, which is the animal spirit, our lower self, the hot and dry energy of the sun that we feel now has its effects on our sphere 9. Some positive emotional traits is magnanimous, desires of power and leadership, full of vitality, strong-willed, zealous, noble, lofty, proud, ardent, authoritative, humane, reserved, above using underhanded means in a struggle against opponents. Some negative traits can be arrogant, extravagant, indecisive, overbearing, dictatorial, excessive pride, devitalized, weak-willed, tyrannical, boastful, yet empty and egotistical. Some mental traits is the will, circumspection, and insight. Some careers or functions during this time. People in authoritative position, father, mother in a one-parent household, king, prince, leaders, lieutenant, deputy, mayor, governor, boss, supervisor, etc., as well as self-employment. So as far as the spiritual portfolio goes, the will or men-ab, the determinant of character, crossroads, transitions, changes, transcending, essence of our divinity. The will is the essence of our divinity. In the same manner that we help children develop by allowing them freedom to act within a circle of limitations, the Supreme Being develops man's divinity by allowing him a certain amount of freedom within a ring past not. The circle that man cannot pass corresponds to Seker's structural lines that keep the world and its events in place. Outside of these, man has the freedom to choose what he wills, but as we have seen, success depends on law and order. As Tahuti and Mayat correspond to the communication of the divine law to our mind and is not in its imposition, we have the freedom to follow or ignore it. The freedom of the will to follow or ignore divine law is the basis of our divinity. There is no divinity where there is compulsion. We saw in the past chapters, blah, 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 the men-ab system, which is your animal spirit of meditation, is the means of liberating and perfecting the use of the will. On our perfection of the system depends on the upliftment of our character and our spiritual growth. The only time that spiritual growth and the transcending of our conditionings take place is when we live the truth of our free will in the crossroads situations. These situations are characterized by 1. The appearance that we will lose great deal, real, imagined, or perceived, which will be opposed to 2. The truth which must be followed, and 3. The intuition of clever and seemingly convincing rationalizations for not following the truth. The latter is contributed by Seth, which actually rules over the season. I love full stories. Does it cost money to be verified for lies? I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't have to get verified. I just been up here long enough. The effort, urge to rise to prominence, to be independent, urge to freedom by cultivating expertise in men, by being self-reliant, confident. Some negative traits: hoping to be compelled to do right, ignorance of will's freedom from emotional compulsion, ignorance of the will's dependence on wisdom, lack of men ab due to arrogance, anger, impatience, a strong, weak life force, through leadership, the urge to lead. So be mindful of that. As far as healing goes, cardiac is heavy here. You know, the heart, small intestine system, heat and fire disease pattern, detoxify with fire. You want to drain your fire today. But yeah, we're definitely dealing with cardiac problems today and arterial circulatory problems. Because Tippereth, or Leo energy, rules over the heart. How you feeling? How you healing? And drop my big ass book. When we get into the Netaroos, just one more thing. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Just one more thing. Y'all know Tippereth or Heru is the Netaru or the Sephiroth that's connected to all the other ones, right? All right. So when we get into the 7 bodies, the 6 is the motive power of being. Each manifested thing receives its breath of life or electromagnetic motive force to enable it to act on the physical plane. Netter becomes aware that a balance or oneness must exist between the fourth manifestation, which is the law and order, and the 5th, which is the enforcer of law and order. It realizes that in order to live safely and effectively, one must be in the world and not of it. Foundation of law of equilibrium. So I know a lot of times we want to like completely remove ourselves from the world and only be in the spiritual realm, because in our mind we have created this utopia, this heaven, this sense of perfection. The goal, and also, like, you know, our gift and our power here is the gift of creation. When we are creating with our human bodies, we are definitely in God form. You know what I'm saying? So when you take that heaven, that utopia, that perfection you created in your mind that you guys like to escape to so much, and you bring it down into Malkuth or Jeb or into the earthly realm, that's something that a lot of entities on this plane can't do. We can do that, though. You can create the utopia on Earth. We have the power to do that. You know what happens? We have a limited belief. And when I say things like that, people always just think about money. But it's not about money. Money is a tool. If you have a limited belief, you don't think you can do it. You don't think you're allowed to do it. You're allowing other people's solar plexus chakras. Hey, Mom, we got to play Monopoly. Yes, we will play Monopoly today. I got you. Made me lose my train of thought, Miles. When we yeah, all right, fuck the train of thought then. Playing Monopoly. You could bring what's in your mind to the physical reality. That's when you're in your godly like self. You know, it starts with the thought, starts at sphere 1, and it comes down to 10. And if you're just staying in sphere 1, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? Well, when we were dealing with the 6th Sephiroth on this Sunday, We're dealing with the centrally located generator that generates that thought, that utopia, that belief or whatever and below. Oh, I was talking about limited beliefs. That's what I was talking about. Because you've allowed people outside of yourself, once again, going outside of yourself for validation and a belief. I would never go outside of myself for a belief system. So even though you guys see me join certain organizations, certain temples, certain churches, you guys will see me read certain religious books. Don't think for 1 second I've internalized any of those things to control what's going on inside of here. I have not. I'm a scholar. I like to learn. I like to experience. I like to experiment. I like energy exchanges. That's what I like. Okay? So you see the L on my name because that was a part of my experience. I joined the temple. I had an experience. I learned some stuff. I aligned with some really good people. However, my God, my leader, my reincarnated Jesus and all that is me. I appreciate you for stopping by and showing love. It's me. It's me. Because I'm in the here and now. I'm in my body. I know what I can create for myself. I know that I am my Moses. I know that I am my Israelite. I know I am my Egyptian. I am my slave and I am my master. Okay? I am my salvation and I'm the one that gives myself the limitations and the restrictions at the same time. It's me. It's not somebody that was here in the 1800s. It's not somebody that was here in the 1500s. It's not somebody that was here in year zero. It's none of that. If I believe, what I believe is what's going on in my space. Okay? Do I believe in bloodlines and passing information and energy and all that through bloodlines? Yes, I do. That's why I'm here. And it's me. Me. I'm a Leo rising for a reason. It's me. I'm here. I'm here. I'm the accumulation of all of the native tribes, indigenous tribes that everybody want to argue about who came first. Who's the original, from what colonized labeled land is the original from, and what they did. It's all me. It's all me. I'm all of them. I'm everything. I'm everywhere all at once. It's me. Nobody can come into my space and convince me otherwise. I don't get into debates with people about that stuff because I don't care. None of that stuff is affecting my reality. None of that stuff is going to help me manifest anything that I want into my space in this here and now. As I am a spirit, and I'm a big ass spirit. I'm not just in the here and now. I'm in the past and in the future at the same time. I'm everywhere and I'm everything. And can't nobody argue me down on that. It's me. It's me. That means that can't no old Caucasian man with a yellow wig come around me and tell me what I can and can't do. It's me. I'm the only one. It's me. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. If I don't want to do something because it goes against my internal law, because of whatever, and it's not something, whatever. And if I do my healing work and I realize that there's something that came in, like, oh, I got a little leak in the boat. Somebody's solar plexus chakra done leaked in my boat and done told me what to do, and I'm internalizing it. Guess what? I plugged that shit up and we getting that shit out of here. It's me. It's me. I don't know how many different ways I can explain that. Maybe I don't explain it well enough. Maybe I'm not. Maybe because I've been so absent from my lives. That's what it is. I think I let too much still time go past. People's brains started getting wonky. Y'all miss me. Y'all miss me. Y'all don't know how to communicate that y'all miss me. So y'all just start talking to me crazy. And I come back out, bang on my chest a little bit. I'm on my Godzilla shit. What was Godzilla going around battling everybody? Like, hold on, I think y'all forgot who I was for a second because I've been quiet. Let me come back out and reintroduce myself. I'm quiet because I'm minding my business. I'm doing what I gotta do for me and my reality. I see y'all miss me telling y'all what to do. It is what it is, though. Not everybody on that same type of time, and that's cool. You keep the traffic light for my lane, you feel me? Keep the traffic light for my lane and where I'm riding at. Because I don't like traffic anyway. I want to get to where I'm going. So, yeah, y'all stay over there and that. We just waiting for somebody to tell us what to do. We waiting on somebody to give us an exodus. all these people out here telling us what to do. Y'all let people on the internet that y'all ain't never met before, they in y'all life, tell y'all how to be y'all. And that's crazy work to me. I never. Y'all can ask my parents. If I don't let them tell me what to do, what makes y'all think y'all about to come into my space? Like, come on. I've never in a million trillion years. And we're not going to start today because y'all on Facebook and TikTok. Didn't Godzilla have a wife in like some spin-off movie? That sounds like crazy work. I don't know. I never heard of that. So I wanted to get into with you guys. Now we're actually to the planetary thing. We did a whole hour of horoscopes. I got to bang on my chest a little bit. I got to reintroduce my services and how I communicate the things that I communicate. So now we're going to get into the actually what are the planets up to during this season. I don't get into too much detail anymore because I am here with you guys every day doing a daily mathematics when I'm on my square and not in my spiral. So I don't want to give you guys entirely that spit, but you guys know I be giving y'all little Easter eggs. Islam, happy Sunday. It was like a giant golden moth and they hated each other until some cheesy pinpoint later. Oh, okay, the moth. Okay, I didn't know that they were together though. That's crazy work. So let's get into where the planets are and what they're up to and what they'll be doing. So, like I said, the last new moon, I didn't say this, I said days after this. The last new moon was July 24th. If you guys want to think about, all of that, I did that in the last planetary forecast about July 24th. Today, I didn't mean to kick the table. Today, we're going to focus on August 23rd, which is the next new moon. And how the planets are moving in between. Quite naturally, we'll have the sun starting and that Cancer Leo energy. And then we move off into Leo Virgo energy. Let me get my line straight in my eyesight. So tropically speaking, we know the tropical deals with our thought process, right? In the winter quadrants, we have starting off in the winter. Well, actually, I don't even want to go by the winter. Do I want to go by the winter quadrants this time around? I don't even know why I started off that way. It's not even the equinox yet. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to do the lines. The ascendant line, the rising line was in Scorpio when we started this new moon cycle. Okay, so transformations is where we're rising to. Empowerment, a lot more secrets coming out, guys. I don't like the mindset of everything's a distraction. If you can't multitask, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I got 2 kids, I have a business, I have a nonprofit, I have a job, and I'm still trying to get another job. I have projects, I do music, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I have a ridiculous amount of siblings. I'm over here taking care of 3 dogs. I am a multitasker. I don't believe in distractions. If you believe that you can be distracted and you project that on other people that they can be distracted, then that's what's going on in your reality. People are distracted. I believe that you can multitask. So that's what I'm going to project upon you. It's up to you whether or not you receive it or not, but that's what I choose to accept in my reality. The people around me, you guys are capable of multitasking. You guys are capable of concentrating on multiple things, multiple topics. We literally went to school and had 9 periods with 7 different subjects. You went home and had homework in all 7 of those subjects. Or was I the only one? So you had to learn how to train your mind to go from math to English to social studies to science to skills for growing to health to whatever other extra electives you had. You had to learn how to switch your mind. So I don't believe in distractions. I think that's a weird concept to have. Why am I talking about this? Because we started the lunar rising. Started this lunar thing with the rising sign in Scorpio. Scorpio brings a lot at one time. Scorpio is here for the dramatics. It's a storm. The storm, it's a lot going on. It's big. It's transformational. So you have to pay attention to politics. You have to pay attention to the money. You have to pay attention to marketing. You have to pay attention to your home. You have to pay attention to the environment and nature. Environment and nature, and then outside, in outer space. I don't do the upper space. There is an upper space, but when we talk about outer is vast and it's infinite. And there, some of these stars aren't entirely just stars. They're actually land, and we see it for the light that it is, just like someone somewhere sees us as a light. You know what I'm saying? In addition to that, your personal health, this person over there health, like it's different things coming, but a lot of transformations are happening amongst us. It was a big space for death, right? A lot of ascension happening. That's what Scorpius energy deals with as well. We had the ascendant together as a collective. We were rising in that death to make room for rebirth. That means that a lot of big energy in the celebrity realm. The celebrity, those are the stars. Those are the personifications of the celestial realm. Everybody looks at them, everybody knows where they're going. Do you guys bother to know their astrological energy so that you guys can realize what it is that they're personifying in front of these screens? Even now, the new celebrities are these younger kids on Twitch and TikTok and stuff. They also are personifications of celestial beings. So learn their signs. If you're watching them, if you're the type of person to watch these people and their interactions with each other, learn about their signs, so you learn what kind of energy they're personifying. It's no different than people saying, oh, we had these deities and we had these orishas and da da da. Those were personifications of the celestial realm, and they behaved a certain way, and they were under the guise of the stars, and they're not alchemists of the stars. They're showing you the stars. You know what I'm saying? That's why you look at them and you're like, they're so lost. Why do these people go into this realm? They give up their soul. Yeah, they give up their soul, their solar plexus chakra. So their ability to alchemize and to be in charge of their realm, of their stars, of their internal clock, they no longer have that. Now they have to submit. And some people use the term Lucifer. Lucifer is the morning star. So they're submitting under that energy. We submit to the stars. We have to do whatever the stars are telling us to do when they tell us to do it. So that's why it's a good idea. Like, if you're going to watch them, like, if I watch them, I'm watching them on an astrological level. I don't give a fuck about their human stuff and the drama and this, that, and the third. Watch them on an astrological level. You'll see a lot of connections between the above and below, within and without. Does that mean space and outer space is two different things? No, it's literally the same exact thing. That's what I was saying. Space is space. I'm in space right now. I'm also in outer space right now, and I'm in upper space compared to some other beings on this plane. I'm in lower space compared to other beings on this plane. Everything is all at once. So we've seen a lot of personification of certain stars ascend, right? I didn't get too much into their zodiac signs. I ain't gonna hold you. I probably should have. But I did see the alignment between, you got the light, you got the darkness, and you got that guy in between where it's like, we don't know if we like you or not. And that sucks. I never want that. I never want something like that to be what I leave behind. Like, people debating on whether or not they're going to, like, honor me in my death is crazy work. Please don't do me like that. Please let me go out of jail. In between from our ascension, which is the energy that we're giving off, we got the 1, 2, 3 house. We have Lilith. We have the fortune there. So there's a lot of fortune happening in that transformation, that empowerment, the secrets, the truth coming out. Of course, we have Pluto sitting over there. By the time we get to the third house, community was undergoing the transformations and that Aquarius energy, and then we get into the fourth house. That's all in the mindset and the actual happenings of things. The ascendant line was over there in Libra, still pretty close to Scorpius energy at a 27-degree Libra at that. So we were right there. And Draconic, of course, we were, exiting out of Scorpio and going into Sagittarius energy. So it was moving away from that transformational death, empowerment, seekers coming out and moving towards the expansion and abundance that comes thereafter. Kind of like that Shango vibe, You do the transformation of death and then you go out and now there's no lines for you. You're outside of the lines. And, the houses stay the same. We still have Pluto sitting over there in the third house between Aquarius and Capricorn energy, both the left and right side of the root chakra. That's how we started the lunar new year, right? The lunar new year. That's how we started this lunar cycle. So getting into how we're going to end the lunar cycle, The ascendant line will be in Gemini. So we're moving from a Scorpio ascension to a Gemini ascension, which is going to be very interesting because we got Geminis in some funky places right now. If you pay attention to the people that are the celestial, the personifications of the celestial beings. Between, and then in the energy exchanges and things, we do have the ascendant line and Taurus energy. So we are rising in money and intellect, learning to be focused and flexible rather than fickle and all over the place. So finding that balance there is definitely key for a lot of us. The fortune is sitting there. Like I said, we do have a lot of Gemini people, a lot of Gemini placements that, whatever. And they'll be setting the tone for September. Oh, my love, you're going to have to wait. I'll be right back. And then when we get into the second and third house, then we have Jupiter in the second house, balancing between Cancer and Gemini. Cancer in our mindset. So expansion and abundance in our emotions. Some of you guys feeling things very heavily. And that's okay. That's okay. Feel your feelings. The expansion and abundance is there for you. Joy. You also have being of service, creating a utopia, that philanthropy type energy. Be mindful of over-giving and oversharing your feelings. Some of you guys, I talked about this, about the over-watering. You can suffocate people with that nurturing, that water energy. So be mindful of that. Find balance. I love that Jupiter, we're ending, we wind down to Jupiter ending off in the second house of balance and harmony, but also moving in your truth. Some of you guys do have big emotions. Some of you guys do have big energy. Some of you guys do have a lot of Cancer placements. And so walking your truth with that, but also find a sense of balance and harmony. There's a difference between walking in your truth and spilling all over the place. Okay, so, and then sometimes when you come across certain energies, especially like you guys being around a cardinal Capricorn, like that whole Ariana Grande and that other girl from Wicked. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. I don't care. That's a Cancer Capricorn balance. It's very weird to look at. That's because of who I am. That's because of who I am and where Cancer is in my chart and where Capricorn is in my chart. However, they balance each other so well. It's kind of like they come together like this, okay? You might want to be around some earth energy to give you that stability. You might want to spill all over earth energy real quick and let that stability, do something for you. Hopefully you got some fours somewhere in your gematria realm you can tap into. That's the best I can do for you guys. But you guys got to be careful with that Jupiter and Cancer, because it will do you in. It will definitely do you in. In the energy exchanges, it's still in Gemini. The expansion and abundance is still for community and communication. So y'all sitting all over, us sitting all over the social media, talking and the gift of gab and things like that is big on the forefront still. We actually end the lunar cycle at a 22-degree master architect on the Gemini. So hopefully by the end of this month, there will be some mindset on building some things for your community and taking action in the realms of that type of time. When we get into the third house, we do have Mars there. Mars, I'm sorry, this is not Mars. I'm sorry, I get Mars and Venus. That is weird. I don't know. I feel like the Venus symbol should be Mars. I don't know why. It just looks more Marsy to me. But Venus will be in the third house at the end of this lunar cycle, dealing with the community and communication. Venus will be between Cancer. Venus will actually be in Cancer on our mindset and in our actions. So that's fun. And that's big emotions too. Big emotions, but also big on the intuition. Home and family, maternal energy is here, nurturing and nurturing. Make sure you guys are nurturing yourself. We have a habit, we want to nurture other people. And for some of you guys, it does make y'all feel good to nurture other people. You gotta make yourself feel good to do that for yourself too. You should feel good doing the same stuff that you do for people when they ask you and stuff. You should feel just as good doing that for yourself. You should feel just as rewarding. You should brag about it just as much. You should complain about it just as much if you're a complainer and you like complaining about what you do for other people. Complain about what you do for yourself too. Like, God damn it, I had to feed myself 3 times a day. Then I had to use the bathroom thereafter. I had to wake up in the morning and brush my teeth. God damn it. You know, you see how silly that sounds? That's how silly you sound when you complain about doing stuff for other people too. Especially if you're doing it. For me, I'm learning how to just be quiet and stop offering my energy and just sit back. Find a balance in that, you know, whatever. And I tell you all the time, as I speak to y'all, I'm speaking to myself. Venus is also sitting in Leo on the spiritual level. So being confident and courageous on the spiritual level with those emotions, how you feel, what you value, what you prioritize, that balance between the material and the emotional realm is heavy on the spiritual level. In the meantime, it's just about like how you feel about the tangible world, how you feel about the intangible world, how you feel about your balance in between those. Mercury is also sitting in Cancer on the Vedic chart and are happening, so a lot of decisions will be made. There'll be emotional based decisions. It's okay to let your emotions make decisions sometimes. Now some of y'all, you get into the human design of things, you want to make sure your emotions have settled. And that's especially if you have your emotions in a water sign and an air sign, something that's not very stable, all over the place, kind of, sort of. Especially like the mutables of the water and air. You might want to wait till your emotions settle out, your intuition kind of like chill out for a second, and you feel a little bit more grounded before you make a decision. But it's perfectly fine to allow your emotions to guide the way. And we've been talking about this for a while now, right? The stars have been in alignment for emotional decision making. Especially as we started the year, we had a lot of lineups in Pisces to make you go deep into the root of your emotions. You guys should have been doing that work heavy during the solstice era before we made it up solstice up into the spring equinox. You guys should have been doing that deep rooted thing to make you guys feel comfortable at this point to make emotional decisions, to make intuitive decisions. If not, I mean, you can still do it. It's always time to do it, you know. Do it now. But like, you know, how I was showing you guys this thing beforehand, jumping into these things, if you just come to me for a one-on-one, I can show you like your personal blueprint on that. That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to put a period on that. I'm going to put a period on that one. So that's what we got from the ascendant to the fourth line. So when we get into the next quadrant, which is IC line. The IC line is our sense of belonging. As you can see from our ascendant, how we assert ourselves into our sense of belonging, it's way more crowded by the time we get to the end of, you know, this lunar cycle than how we begin it. How we begin it is straight transformations happening, a lot of ascension. That's beautiful, right? Between the ascendant line being in Scorpio, Libra, to it just being Pluto at the end near the fourth line, it made a whole bunch of space for new to come in, right? Because by the end of this lunar cycle, now we got Venus over here, we got Jupiter over here. Jupiter is a big planet. Of course, a lot of things need to be transformed and moved out the way to make space for Jupiter. We got Mercury over here giving us decision. Now we have space to make decisions. All these things happen because, you know, we started off with that Pluto transformation. So now when we get into the next quadrant, fourth house being our sense of belonging, our connectivity, now we're getting, you know, deeper into the emotions of things. Fourth house in our mind starts with Pisces. Okay, so there goes a window for you guys to get back deep into the rooted emotions of things. Some of y'all need to get to the roots of your sense of belonging. What it is you feel you need to do or be or behave to have a sense of belonging amongst a collective. Some of y'all feel like y'all got to do some goofy shit, be some goofy shit, do stuff y'all don't believe in, be something y'all don't believe in, act on something that's not really true to you. You know, you got to do what the Romans do when in Rome. Y'all know I don't be with the shit. I'll walk away. I'll go something real quick. Nah. I'm an Aquarius, right? My North Node in Aquarius. I'm good. I'm good off of all of that. Okay? But a lot of you guys need to get into the root of what it is that you need to feel like you belong somewhere. What is this level of comfort that you need to feel? And is that level of comfort coming from a balanced place? Or is it coming from an overactive solar plexus chakra? Is it coming from an overactive root chakra or underactive root chakra? Some of you guys are not authority of yourself, and you guys want to belong somewhere where someone is always telling you what to do and how to behave and what to wear, and wear a turban on your head and put a dot between your eyes and draw some shit on your arms and get this branding real quick, and you gotta eat these foods on a Tuesday. Like, some of y'all with the shits, and that's cool. If that's what works for you, you don't have to edit anything. Some of y'all be letting people tell y'all what's favorable and unfavorable. I'm not here to do that. What I will do from time to time, because I am facetious and I'm me, I'll make some jokes based upon my reality and my own personal law and order. Does that make me correct and you incorrect? No, it does not. You are still entitled to your reality just as much as I'm entitled to the reality that I sit in here today. Okay? There are certain traits that you have been taught is unfavorable. It's certain traits that you have been taught about yourself. People don't like this. Men don't like this. Women don't like this. The culture don't like this. Your ancestors don't like that. Spirits don't like that. Stars don't like that. You've been taught that. So you've been taught that if you feel this way, if you behave that way, if you communicate this way, you need to change that about yourself. You need to undergo some type of da-da-da. But if it's shit that you're comfortable with, this is you, and you not hurting nobody, and you cool with you, be cool with you. This is your fucking reality. Stop letting people dictate your reality. That's crazy work. You don't get to come over here and tell me what to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You gotta be on that type time, man. You gotta, like, yo, you have to be strong. Be like bamboo. Bamboo is strong. We is flexible and focused. I'm flexible and focused on my mission statement. Do you have a mission statement? We talked about this heavy during Capricorn season leading up to the solstice before you even got here. You need a mission statement. And nobody should be able to come to you and say, hey, you should do this, and you go with it because you have a mission statement. You have a root. Root yourself in your shit. Thank y'all for liking the screen. Thank y'all for the gifts. Hey, love, I'm gonna need a reading from you. How do I book? Oh, I'll message you the link. I do a free consultation at first. I don't know, because me and you've been in alignment for a minute now. I don't know if you so versed well that you already know what kind of reading you want, but I can give you the link to the consultation initially, and then we could talk about it. But yeah, stop letting people come into your space and tell you what to do, unless that's what you like. Some of y'all are what do you call them? Subs? Some of y'all subs. Some of y'all like that shit. And you know what? Under the right moonlight, kind of like that shit too. So I'm not bad. You do what works for you, but just make sure it's what's working for you, and it's not what somebody else came into your space and told you had to do or be or behave or whatever. It's you. And we're going to do that with this IC line in Pisces, y'all. We're going to do it there, because in the energy exchanges of things, that IC line is sitting in that fixed air of Aquarius. That's perfect. That's perfect for y'all to do that. That sense of belonging that you guys need, you know, that you require, that nurtures you, that makes you feel comfortable. How you behave when you're by yourself and nobody's watching you, you should be able to behave around this collective with the same type energy. And if you can't, are you really comfortable? I personally, I like my relationship with myself when I'm by myself. I don't think I really want to be around anybody that makes me feel that comfortable. But we can get real close, though. We can get real close. But that's what we have for the IC line. Then you got the 4th, 5th, and 6th house as we make it up to the descendant line. So let's talk about it. When we started off this lunar cycle in the 4th house, we had the, of course, we have the South Node, our comfort self, where we came, no, I'm sorry, not our South Node, our North Node, where we're going towards, where we're moving towards, was in the 4th house. We also had the Saturn and Neptune, which is still very close to each other. They're still, you know, coming into alignment with one another. They bump buddies and then they go backwards. Saturn does his retrograde, they bump buddies. Then Neptune does his retrograde, then they bump buddies. So Saturn and Neptune are still very much close. They're still very much holding hands. We did start the lunar cycle with them both being at 7 degrees Pisces. Saturn was at 1 degree Aries, while Neptune was at 2 degrees Aries in the Zodiac realm. So new beginnings in those places, in the same breath, in the energy exchanges, we're still dealing with endings. So our mind is in new beginnings with the challenges and authority and stuff like that. Just like Pluto is in Aquarius in our mindset. So it's new beginnings in the society. We're thinking it, we're speaking it into existence. Y'all gotta be very, I be telling y'all so much, y'all gotta be so careful with the words y'all be speaking into existence. You guys may not be able to, you guys might not experience what y'all speaking into existence, but the people y'all leaving behind will. And if you believe that you will be reincarnated and you keep speaking that into existence for yourself, you definitely will come back to it. Some of y'all are so selfish that y'all speak all this negative, war, violence, lack of safety, restrictions, limitations, scarcity all on the earth, and then be like, I never want to come back again. That's selfish as fuck, bro. And I hope you come back. I hope you live 500 years doing all that shit you speaking on just because you thought that shit was sweet. And that's just me on mine, okay? Stop doing that. That's weird. Unless that's the life you want to live. Some of y'all like that shit. I be getting so exhausted doing readings for people that think they on a battlefield. I swear I do. Because I don't want that in my reality. I don't like connecting to that kind of energy. So if you think you on the front line in a war and stuff, don't ask for no reading from me. I don't want to read that shit. It's annoying. It's annoying. I can feel it. I feel it in my space. It starts knocking shit over in my space. I don't like it. I don't like it. If you think you want to battle for you need to go to somebody else. Go to an Aries reader or something. That's not for me. You need to go to a fire sign. I'm a fire rising, but I don't like all of that. I'm on the battlefield and the white man got his foot on my neck and we're at war and niggas is trying to kill me and I'm looking out the window and I'm like, you scared but you strong at the same time. I don't want to hear that shit. That's not for me in my reality. I respect people who love to do that, who love to be, in that realm of things. Cool. Y'all in World War III. I'm happy for y'all. Be in World War III. Over there. Over there. Because we enjoy abundance, harvesting. We in health over here. We healing over here. Anybody come with anything. You got vaccinated? Bet. We finna kill you. We finna heal you. You're not going to die. You're not going to get sick. We're going to heal you. We know how to heal you over here. Y'all over there like, if you've been vaccinated, you're going to die. This is going to happen. Like, y'all is ill. Why is y'all like that? Y'all love shit like that. Why is y'all like that? Why do you like speaking shit like that into existence? Y'all good? You okay? You alright? You need a hug, my nigga? Like, what the fuck is going on? Always speaking division and death. Okay. Cool. I just smile and nod like, yeah. I smile and nod to a lot of foolishness. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all be talking crazy out here. I do not be agreeing. But I'm not going to invalidate your reality. Just know that shit don't come over here. And that's all in the 4th house. Nurture yourself how you want to nurture yourself. If you nurture yourself like a wounded lion animal, you nurture yourself like you on the front line of World War III. If you nurture yourself like an alien that people are trying to beat up and stuff, then that's how you nurture yourself. I nurture myself with vegetation, animals, children. It's harps playing in the background, all that stuff, all those things happening. Sir, it's all in the refrigerator. Don't comment stuff like that on there. All that stuff. And when we get into the 5th house, now we're in the house of Leo. Now we're in that balance, that Tippereth, that confidence and courageousness. Chiron is here. We started the lunar cycle with Chiron being there, transmuting your wounds into strengths. Y'all have to be confident and courageous to transmute your wounds into strengths. Are you? Or are you sitting in your wounds? Are you like, oh, somebody has to come and apologize to me first? Or, oh, I'm going to, keep spitting my wounds at other people and acting like they don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Awareness is key. And that's not to say that you're going to heal everything overnight. It's the same shit with, like, finally taking herbal supplements or, eating healthy. You've been eating unhealthy for 30, 40 years, baby. Just because you had a salad today don't mean you about to undo 30, 40 years of shit. It's okay. You on your own timing. You know what I'm saying? That same thing goes for emotions. The same thing goes for mental health. You meditated today. That's not going to unravel 30, 40 years of stuff. Don't let none of these 20-something-year-olds on the internet that just discovered stars yesterday, so they try and tell you a whole bunch of shit today about who you are and how quick you're supposed to heal. That's ridiculous. Don't internalize that shit. Because a lot of them people are projecting and they haven't even healed their projections. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you gotta be like me. If you're not healed yet, da 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 da. Some people have been wounded for 40, 50 years. They've been holding wounds and just realized they could heal themselves. I give grace. Okay? Y'all want a one-on session with somebody that's gonna give you grace? Come here. I got you, boo. I get it. I get it. Okay? And in the midst of you healing from something 40, 50 years ago, you still dealing with stuff that you got to heal from last week, yesterday, last month, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, on top of it that triggered those wounds. And this scab just keep getting picked at, keep getting picked at, keep getting picked at. And then you got these 20-something years old on the internet telling y'all how y'all need to behave today. Okay? Expeditiously. And that's my projection. Okay? That's not to invalidate them. Some of these kids, they cycles be so fast. Their cycles are very fast. They move very fast. They move very fast. And you know what happens to people who move fast like that? Their lives are fast too. They go through things real fast. It's not too much grasping onto things because they're constantly moving on to the next thing. And they have very short lives. Lives are getting shorter. You want to know why? Because everybody wants to live fast. If you want a short life, live fast. Go ahead and absorb everything at 23. Go ahead and do it. Oh, I lived a whole life. I'm 22. I lived a whole life. Okay. Live the fast life. That's for you. That's for you. Some of y'all are here to be slow and steady and take your time. Some of you guys are here to be turtles. Not everybody here is to be a butterfly. Some of you guys are here to be turtles. And that's okay. We love turtles just as much as we love the butterflies. And we love all the beings in between. Okay? It's your speed, is what you want to do. Again, your solar plexus chakra, you stay grounded in that shit. Don't let nobody come over here and tell you how you're supposed to heal, what speed you're supposed to be healing in, what window is for you, da 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 da. If you don't feel it, you don't feel it. If you would like guidance, that's what I'm here to do. I provide guidance. I can guide you. I can give you suggestions. But it's still up to you or whether or not you want to walk through those suggestions, whether or not you want to accept them. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to accept them, you create a whole nother reality for yourself. And you're allowed to do that. And that's the fun of it, right? The fact that you get to do that. You have the power to do that. Hey, Remy. Happy Sunday. And so when we get into the 6th house, we started the lunar, hey, Savvy. When we started the lunar cycle, we don't have any placements in the 6th house. So when it comes to health, wellness, daily routine, finding that balance and harmony in there with the 6th house, ain't too much there. Y'all wasn't focusing on your daily routine. Y'all was focusing on all that ascension happening on the other side. Oh my God, this person died, that person died, this person died, that person died. Everybody was dying. Peace to the tribes that are learning how to adjust to all of that, though. Definitely. Not to make light of that, because I don't want to, because not everybody accepts that ascension the same way. Now, when we get into this lunar cycle, now from the IC line, the sense of belonging and nurturing, all the way up to Miles. If you want to talk to me, come in the room. Stop commenting. If you want to go from IC line, from your comfort zone, all the way up to your DC line, like that balance between how you assert yourself and how you're comforted, you know, how you feel versus what you have, between the, you know, the IC MC line, it's way bigger. There's way more degrees. In this one, we have 3 houses. You have the 4th, 5th house. It goes from Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, or Pisces, Aries, Taurus, depends on if you're talking about the Vedic or the tropical or draconic. Now, when you get into the next new moon on the 23rd, you have Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So from the IC to the DC line, we have a lot going on. Please, I'm not telling you what to do. Please, in the same breath, please, you know, allow your intuition and your emotions be your guide. I'm telling you, that is the window is open. It's big as shit. this is literally like next to the AC to the MC line, which we're gonna get into shortly. It's big here. It's very big in the intuition. It's very big here. This is where you want to be. And you want to be in your feelings. Well, by the time we get to the next new moon, I want y'all to be so secure in how y'all feel, in your prophecies, in your intuition, in your thoughts, in your heart, in your tears, in your smiles, in your anger, in your joy. Be so comfortable in it. And I'm not talking about comfortable to the point where you feel like, oh, I feel this good, let me go control stuff outside. No, I want you to be so comfortable in yourself that it's good that it's just you here. If you're the only person that feel or think the way you feel, I want y'all to be so comfortable that that is okay. That is okay. That's the level of comfort, because that's how y'all gonna manifest things. Got a lot going on over here. You know what I'm saying? From the 4th, 5th to the 6th house, the 6th house is pretty big. 6th house spans from the line between, Virgo and Libra all the way up to Scorpio. So we touched like 3 zodiacs with that 6th house. So for my Virgos, to my Libras, to my Scorpios, you guys coming into some space of organization. Focus on that. Lilith and the vertex is here. Your primordial energy wants that sense of organization. Being of service is big here too. Doing for others. Getting to the root of other people's, moral and integral code is heavy here too. Coming back to the 4th house of home and family, sense of belonging. Of course, it's a new moon. We have the sun and moon sitting between, whether dealing with the Virgo energy or Leo. It depends on if you're on the tropical and draconic or if you're in the Vedic, okay? But we have the sun and moon sitting there in that new moon energy. We will be in Virgo on the thought process and our spiritual experience between the tropical and the draconic. And then in our energy exchanges, the new moon will be in Leo at a 6th degree. So our energy exchanges will be on that confidence, courageousness, creativity, romantic self, finding that balance between your internal, external self, your higher, your lower self, the upside down, in between, all that fun stuff like that, right? So again, another space of intuition. And then when we get into the 5th house of how you assert yourself, your confidence and courageousness, we do have the that's the south node. We have the south node there. Where we're coming from would be Virgo. So a lot of like what you know, what you've learned, what you've been educated on, some of the routines and things like that you already have going on, you might want to uproot some of that stuff. It might not do well for you. You do have the south node touching like 3 different energies though. Like in our mindset, it's in Virgo, so it's on that sense of organization. And in the event exchange of things, it's in Leo. So it's in confidence and courageousness, our creativity, our self-centeredness, coming into ourself, our comfort zone. And then in the draconic, on a spiritual level, it's in Libra. So it's in that space of justice and truth. So we have like 3 different, spaces of comfort we'll be addressing. Mars will be in Libra in the 5th house, of that Leo house. And finding your truth in your heart, finding your truth in your Tippereth, finding your truth in the areas that you feel confident and courageous in, and the ones that you don't. That's heavy there. And in the energy exchanges, Mars is in Virgo. And so in the happenings, it will be like that motivation, that ambition, that anger, as you try to find that balance in your mind and in your spirit. It'll be put forth in what you harvest, because Virgo is harvest. What you put in is what you get out, right? Also being, how motivated are you to be of service or to be service? Some of you guys give so much, but when are you going to receive? I'm not really a good receiver. I ain't going to hold you. I'm not a good receiver, and a lot of that is from my roots of individuals who give, and they never gave out of the kindness of their heart. They give from weird energy that I don't agree with, that I don't want to put up with, that I don't want to receive. And so for that reason, it makes it difficult for me to be in reception. I'm working on it. That's something that I do want to work on, but I don't want to completely heal it, because to do away with it completely, I would put myself back into positions where I would have people, thinking they could talk to me any kind of way because they did something for me, and I'm not doing that again. Because the next time I have to deal with that, I might be on the news. Not dealing with that anymore. Now the DC line. Now we're in the DC line. Now we're in this line of balance. Now the DC line is in opposition of the AC line. The AC line is how you exert yourself. The DC line is how you're received, right? The DC line being in between the IC line of nurturing sense of belonging and the MC line of material success, right? So you have the IC, how I feel, MC, what do I have, okay? So that DC line is the balance between that, how I feel and what I have, right? And then also in opposition of how I exert myself. How are we being received here? Is it in balance with what I feel and what I have? That is the question that we ask when we are looking at placements around our DC line, okay? So when we started this lunar cycle, we started the DC line in Taurus energy, if you were in your thoughts. So when it comes to what you value, what you prioritize, the facets of love and forgiveness, your connectivity, your self-esteem and all that, do you feel balanced with how you feel and what you have? Are they reflecting each other correctly according to, what you're looking at in your Taurus? According to what you're designing, In the events of things, this DC line is in Aries, so it's experiencing a new beginning. Also a sense of motivation. And a lot of that motivation may have been coming from that DC line being in Taurus. Oh, no. What is being created in front of me is not a direct reflection of how I feel. I've been suppressing how I feel because I thought that maybe if I made myself feel like I didn't like these certain things or I like those certain things, it would put me in a space to have something else. And it's not. So you might have that Mars come into play and act on some new beginnings or do some new things in your space, right? In the spiritual level, on the Draconic chart, we have the DC line sitting in Gemini as well. So community and communication is there. So we actually have the DC line in 3 different zodiacs. In mind, we're on the Taurus. In our body experiences, we're in that new beginnings, motivation of Aries. And in our spiritual side of things, we're in community and communication. So that DC line, I like that alignment too, though, because as your mind is on like what we're going to design and your body is getting motivated to do it, your spirit is already walking into rooms and shaking hands and meeting other energies ahead of you to make things flow accordingly. That's a great way to start the lunar cycle. So hopefully you guys use that energy, or just use the new moon energy in general to manifest some things you may have wanted in your space. And allow the movement of these lines to keep that going. Now we go into the houses of 7, 8, 9. All right. 7 is the Libra house of law, justice, truth, and righteousness. In that space, we have Uranus there giving us the progressive pushes. We have progressive pushes happening to us to make us move in our truth. A lot of us are not moving in our truth of what we truly want or what we truly desire, because some of us may have been taught that what we want or what we truly desire might be immoral, or not spiritual enough, or not feminine enough, or not masculine enough, or not black enough, or not Native American enough, or not Moorish American enough, or whatever the fuck else, okay? And listen, we are in the age of Aquarius. We have moved away from Pisces. Pisces is the fish. And as much as Pisces likes isolation and endings, listen, think about how fish swim. Fish swim in schools. You wanna know why fish swim in schools? Fish swim in schools so that all these little fish, these little weak, vulnerable fishes together can appear as a big fish. And it makes actual big fishes fearful and not realize that these are just little weak ass fishes that I'm about to eat. Okay? That's what fish do. When we come into Aquarius, it's no more, we don't need that no more. It's the power to be one. I'm not a weak ass fish that has to swim in a school of fishes to be strong. I'm strong on my own, baby. What I got going on is enough. It's strong enough, it's good enough, it's powerful enough. And the same thing for you. Now we have complete, whole, strong people coming together. We don't have to pretend to be one big fish. We can come together and be a power of individuals amongst all. So that's the connection there with that. Not with my dog trying to open the window. So anyway, coming back, we have Uranus providing us with the progressive pushes over here, helping us to walk in our truth of that powerful energy, right? And our mindset is in Gemini. It's in community and communication. So in our mindset, it's our community. It's, what we're learning, our intellect. It's about, who we're having those communicative, spiritual, experiences with. The knowledge, the intellect. A lot of progressive pushes are happening there in our mind to put us in that truth and that balance and justice. In our energy exchanges, Uranus is sitting in Taurus, providing those progressive pushes in that balance between our material and our emotional realm. Okay, finding a truth in that. Some of you guys deny a lot of material and tangible things in your space that you would like to design in your space. I speak to myself a little bit because in your mind, just like, oh, I correlated with X, Y, Z, but I'm the one that correlates it with X and Y, Z. I don't have to correlate it with that if I don't want to. This is my reality, and so that's something I'm healing with myself. So get prepared, because soon I will be fly and I will be way more materialistic because I like stuff. But that's up to you and how you choose to look at things. You know what I'm saying? Within reason, because I still see how, there's a yin and yang in all things, and for me to have certain things, other people got to live a certain kind of way, and I don't like that. And then we move into the 8th house. Now we started the lunar activity with Venus being on that line between the 7th and the 8th house. So between being in your truth and experiencing empowering transformations, Venus was there. Venus is in Gemini energy in our mindset. So it was in our mindset between being in our truth and experiencing those empowering transformations and what we know about what we prioritize. And our energy exchanges and the happenings, Venus was in its home place in Taurus, and we love it here, but still on that cusp of, basically what I'm saying, being in my truth of what I want in my space, and allowing and opening myself to the transformations that's going to allow it. You know what I'm saying? And then Venus was in Cancer, so we get three different energies on Venus too. So we get that mindset of Gemini, we get that energy exchange of Taurus, and then our spiritual self just moves right on into Cancer energy to give us that intuitive, emotional connectivity to those things between that 7th and 8th truth and transformation. Then we get into the 8th house of transformations and rebirth. We have the vertex here, and we also have Jupiter sitting there, giving us the expansion in our vertex. So a vertex is kind of like your vacuum that you have. I know you guys seen the images of the body, and they have like the spiral and the cone or whatever. It's kind of like the vertex type vibe. And our vertex collectively was in that 8th house of transformation, experiencing those transformations. A lot of different things moving around in your place, whether you were aware of it or not aware of it. Some stuff broke. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff shut down. Some batteries died. My son, his tablet broke. We're in the process of replacing it. That's another transformation. A new tablet is on the rise. He has new ideas now. He has a new work ethic now. He wasn't really utilizing it when he first got it. He didn't start utilizing it until later on. And then, so certain things is happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like a layman's, personal example. You have whatever examples you have. There's lots of transformations happening around you. Lots of transformations happening around me. I'm not even in the same time zone I was in last Planetary forecast, y'all. I'm in a whole different space. Which is going to affect my mathematics soon. So I'm sorry to y'all that's still on the East Coast. Because I got to make this about me. I'm not on the East Coast anymore. But that's what's happening there with the vertex and Jupiter. Jupiter is expanding your vertex and what you're able to absorb in your mindset. It's with the Cancer energy, and our energy exchanges is with Gemini, the community and the communication exchange is happening, and it's expanding what you attract there. Some of you guys have been pushed to meet new people, to shake new hands, to have new opportunities. That's the Gemini vibe. Some of you guys might have been open to spaces where you had to be more rash, more opportunistic, maybe a little bit more violent, and not always physically, sometimes verbally, sometimes spiritually. Some of you guys have been more friendly, more connected. That's Gemini. Gemini's a Gemini twin. You got Pollux and you got Cancer. It's, that balance in between the two is what we want to do. And then sometimes we have to, imbalance it a little bit to speak to certain energies that's around us. It's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But Jupiter was there to expand that for you and give you the wisdom that you need. Like, some of y'all was in situations y'all been in before. Like, bro, we've been in a transformation like this before. Let me remind you. Let me give you that choke mom. Let me give you that chesed that you developed because of that choke mom, that 2 and that 4 step roll. Let me open that up for you real quick so you can see what's really happening. And that's what those placements and Cancer were doing for those placements in Gemini. Okay. Then we get into the 9th house, which is expansion. Now we're in that Sagittarius house. That 9th house starts over in Cancer energy and then moves over in Leo vibes. So, in that space, excuse me, we had the sun, the moon, the mountains, and the rivers. We have Mercury there too. And so you have your experience, and your decision making between the two, which is really cool. I like that all 3 of them were in the 9th house, leading us up to the MC line of achievement and success. That's like a nice concoction here. That's a nice thing to alchemize with, because that rules over how you exert yourself, and also rules over your intuition. Let your intuition be your guide and exert yourself accordingly, and then make decisions about in alignment with that. Those 3 placements were in Leo on our mindset and the spiritual alignment. So the spiritual energy, our auric body that's like out and about, while our physical body is here, was in alignment with our thoughts. So whatever downloads you guys were getting was definitely in alignment with your auric body and wherever your auric body was traveling to. While our energy exchanges it was all in Cancer. We were in the Cancer constellation during this period of time, the sun, moon, and Mercury. So we were making decisions, again, coming back to the fact that you gotta let your intuition be your guide. There's been too many times where your intuition was trying to speak to you and you was like, nah. And then you turned around and told yourself, I told you so. I told you that energy wasn't good. I told you not to go here. I told you to be impulsive and go over there. I told you to do this anyway. I told that to happen. I told you this person wasn't right. I told you that person was perfect. I told you and you didn't listen. So then you got to listen to yourself, tell yourself, I told you so. Now you got to go through the process of forgiving yourself, because now you're walking around being weird and you're not accepting new energy, and people don't know why. It's because you haven't forgiven yourself for that thing, and you're just in your head like, $20, dang, if I wouldn't have did this, dang, I wouldn't. That's beating yourself up. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? You made the decision that you had to make. You didn't trust your intuition for whatever reason. You need to heal that part too. Why didn't you trust your intuition? At what point in time did your intuition, you felt like, lead you wrong? What about your intuition makes you feel comfortable ignoring it? Have those conversations sometimes too. That's okay. That's okay to have those conversations. It definitely will help you with those placements moving in Leo, as they moved in Leo, because now we are in Leo with these placements on the Vedic chart. No, I lied. The sun ain't there yet. We got a few more days, but we will be. Okay. But when we start having them in the energy exchanges, and now it's calling on you to stand on your 1s and 2s, Vedically speaking, and be confident and courageous and creative, and be balanced with all of that, with how you speak to certain energy. Because once you declare something, automatically equal opposite energy comes. And if you're not grounded in what you're declaring, you're going to allow that stuff to beat your ass. That's like, as much as I don't like conquistadors, you know what I'm saying? Say if they would have came over here with weak ass solar plexus chakras, it'd have been like, no, you're not God ordained. You didn't do nothing. And they would have fell to that. They would have been like, you know what, you're right. We didn't. But they didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do that. So that wasn't a good example, but it was a good example at the same time. I don't know. But yeah, so let's get into the next new moon in this lunar cycle, because that's how we started. So how are we going to end up? We're actually pretty quiet here between the DC and MC line, because all of our planets are actually, we actually leave those in between the spring and the, spring and fall. These are summer placements. Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio is where the majority of the planets are by the time we get to the end of this lunar, situation. So, we're in between spring and fall. A little bit of, yeah, spring and fall. We got that going on there. But when we get from the DC line, the line of balance and harmony, we have the seventh house. There are no planets in the seventh house. However, the seventh house is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about wisdom and expansion. Allow that energy to flow over the seventh house as a collective, being in our truth. You know what I'm saying? That's in our mindset and our energy exchanges. The seventh house starts off in Scorpius energy. So there are some transformation, some empowerment, some truths and secrets and stuff that need to come out on the seventh house, to find that balance that we're looking for. In the eighth house, we also don't have any celestial bodies. However, the eighth house is in Capricorn. So in the space of transformation, by the end of this month, expecting your mindset to have some sort of structure taking form in the transformations. So if you feel all over the place right now, give yourself grace. Take time. We are still in the waxing moon. We're actually in waxing gibbous. So it's a good time to build on tangible things before we get back down into waning. We haven't made it to the full moon yet. So we're not in the middle of the lunar cycle yet. So it's okay to give yourself grace and space to start, creating some sense of structure and authority, having some sort of plan. Don't wait until somebody comes and pisses you off. I don't know what placements y'all have in the eighth house. Align them with this, okay? Some of y'all wait until somebody punches y'all in the face to be like, oh, I'm going to create some sense of authority. Don't wait till that. Don't be like T.I. waiting until he's drunk and he can't get into his own house and the housing cops is giving him a pain in the ass before he realizes that he's in a gentrified neighborhood. That man should have known that way ahead of time. Don't wait until you getting arrested in Starbucks before you realize you are in a culture vulture environment. You should have known that when you seen Yamoja on the door in green. That ain't even her color. You should have known that from the rip. Okay? I don't drink Starbucks. I refuse. For many reasons. There's definitely crack in there. Anyway. So that's for that. Okay? Eighth house transformations, you will create some sort of alignment. It will be in alignment with some type of discipline or order in that space. You'll have it. It'll also be in your auric body, so it'll be something that's downloadable. You keep meditating and journaling and freestyle talking and doing whatever you got to do to your auric body, and it'll come to you. And the energy exchanges of things, the eighth house of transformation is happening in Sagittarius, so the expansion and abundance energy is what's going to be undergoing the transformation as your mind and spirit create a structure with it. And then, over time, eventually the eighth house will go ahead and move on to the Capricorn energy. Pluto is over there in the ninth house. Okay. The ninth house of transformations. That's the ninth house of expansion and abundance, and having Pluto there, that's a storm with some air. That's big. I don't know if y'all know the story of Oya and Shenga and how, they just used to fuel each other. Well, actually, Oya used to kind of like manipulate Shenga. And Shengo makes a bad decision. That's my interpretation. I'm facetious. I'm sorry to the Ifas in the back that feel disrespected. But yeah, so they fuel each other. Some impulsivities can happen there. Some bad decisions can happen there. Be mindful of that. For those of you guys who do not have control over your Scorpius energy yet, your 8th house energy yet, y'all be careful with how y'all play with this. A lot of y'all like to play with big things and don't know what you're playing with yet. Slow and steady wins the race. You know what I'm saying? We don't all have to be so fast all the time. Pluto gonna be here for 18 years, baby. You got 18 years to figure it out on the tropical chart, and then you got another 10 years thereafter on the Vedic chart following up. Now, when Pluto's in Aquarius on the tropical and on the Vedic, that's gonna be fire. But we're not there yet. Pluto is only at a 7th degree in Capricorn. We're still in the cardinal Capricorn constellation. We ain't go nowhere yet, okay? So just take a breath, give yourself grace, allow yourself to experience the storms. But just know that there's rebuilding in the structure that's happening. And we see that. There is no beginning or end in between what's going on inside of you versus what's going on outside of you. You guys are going through a lot of transformations inside of yourself. You're constantly healing things about yourself. You're constantly learning things about yourself. I see you guys all the time on my lives about how you're learning about this star about yourself. You guys are in your gene keys. Now you're learning more about your human design. Now you're focusing on your moon sign this week. You're focusing on your Mercury next week. And now you're on the draconic Mercury. Now you're learning about the different houses and the Coke and the Placidius and the Equal and the MH houses and all that stuff. You guys are learning and expanding about yourself every day, every moment of every day. And you guys are feeding that information to yourselves, and you're giving yourselves an opportunity to share that information amongst yourselves and the new cells that are on the way. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant. And you see that outside of ourselves. A lot of transformation is happening. We are no longer the school of fishes. So the different entities and the organizations and the governments and the money, the currency and the mindsets and the trade and the commerce and the caste systems and all those things that being those fish upheld, the fish aren't upholding those things anymore. You see that, right? We don't want to work. We don't want to be employees. We don't want to keep y'all organizations and y'all systems on our backs, on our necks, on our feet. That's how we project it onto our elders that have lived through this. That's not what we want. We don't believe in this shit no more. So what's happening? Naturally, the things that we no longer believe in are dismantling. We don't believe in the education system no more. We don't believe that they taught us everything we need to be taught. We've realized that I've learned more outside of the school system than I learned within. A lot of the stuff in the school system is just busy work. It's not real information, and some of it is not usable information, and a lot of that stuff nobody even bothered to remember. It's an award system. It trains people into the award system. It is the people that got straight A's, that got the certificates and the honor. See, I was a straight A student. I fell for the award system. I love it there though. Honestly, I just like to learn, and I was really good at it. And for people to praise me for something that I love to do, and y'all have no idea, like the when I leave school, the kind of life I live when I leave school, and y'all treat me way different while I'm here. I love to be here. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of one of those things for me. That's just my personal story. But you have no idea how much school is a safe haven for a lot of people, especially for my teachers in the back. You have no idea the kind of lives that some of those kids are living when they go home. And the way y'all praise and the way y'all treat them kids during them hours you have them, it really means the world to them. You know what I'm saying? Because when they go home, they're getting very much mistreated. They're being abused. They're being starved out. They're being talked to any kind of way. They're not being praised for their activities. They're only getting beat when they don't do what they're told. You know what I'm saying? So, keeping certain things like that in mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how we got there, but we got there. However, that brings us back to a lot of the systems and the organizations and stuff like that we have been keeping and holding up. They are undergoing that transformation that Pluto is providing in the Aquarius and Capricorn Zodiac and constellations, right? And you're right, it did need to be said. It needed to be said. And I speak from experience as one of those kids that can name the teachers that changed my life and really cared about me, and I still love them. I still say their names. And now as I'm a substitute teacher, and I'm also, I teach other things, I don't take that lightly when I'm come across kids that, when I'm interacting with the other babies. And so even while these organizations and these systems and these different entities that we no longer believe in are being dismantled and undergoing transformation, this is a perfect opportunity to build. It leaves space for building. This is not a time, well, for some of you guys it is. I'm sorry that I just projected. In my reality, how I see things, as I see the education system dismantling, to me, it's an opportunity to build something else in its place that is what we would desire to see more. I'm building my own education system. You know what I'm saying? I'm building my own courses. I'm building the things that I feel like people should learn that I'm really good at teaching. There are other things that other people should know about. I don't feel like I'm an expertise in. I do what I can. I do what's in my reality, what I'm good at. And the things that I'm not good at, we can learn together, which is why I love Virgo Virgin Talk. Virgo Virgin Talk is very socio-political. Virgo Virgin Talk is also very historical. Those are things that I don't know off the top of my head. However, I do take the time to do the research with my co-host, Shouts the Goddess. I do take the time out to do the research and to learn and to communicate it and, grow from there. I homeschool my kid. I advocate for homeschooling communities and organizations for those who wish to homeschool your kid. There's so much more liberation in homeschooling your child because you realize you are not, you don't have to do that 7 to 3 or 8 to 4:30, schedule, because some of you guys work. Some of you guys have other things. Sometimes those hours just don't work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, especially during the winter time, my son is a night owl more so in the winter than he is in the summertime. It kind of goes back and forth. He's very seasonal. I've learned his seasons. And so we correlate homeschool according to his body clock. I'm not going to force him out of his energy, but I will teach him that sometimes, sometimes you do have to go outside of yourself. However, in spaces that you don't have to, why? For what? Because somebody taught you that that's what you're supposed to be doing? Because that's what makes you a good student. That's what makes you a good fish. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. That's just me on mine, okay? All I'm saying is, as these things are being dismantled, it gives opportunity to build new things. We do have a military as indigenous people. Some of you guys, it was like the Pan-Africans, the New Panther, the Neo-Panthers, the Hebrews. There's so many other militias out here. There's so many other education systems out here. There's so many other government systems out here that could align and have treaties amongst each other, and you join one of them, or you create one of your own and be in treaty with them. This is a perfect opportunity as things are being removed and cleansed out of our space. It gives us an opportunity to build, and that's how we should look at it. You know what I'm saying? We should look at it as an opportunity of, okay, we can build things here, because what initially was there wasn't even for us anyway. It was there to gatekeep certain opportunities and experiences away from us that were rightfully ours to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So, having this knowledge, it's not time to panic. It's time to build, especially when you see it's like I see the enemy of my enemy arguing, and now they're about to have a war over there, and they're arguing about their currency, and they're arguing about their education system, and they're arguing about, who is the best race and who has this and who. Let them argue over there while we do what we got to do over here. Now they're not looking at us. They're not watching us. They're not staring at us. Their descendants like us, and they want to be us, and they have a different level of whatever. This is a perfect opportunity for us to fill those spaces, and that's just how I look at things. That's how I see it. It doesn't put me in a gloom and doom mindset. The world is ending, the things is ending, the war is going. What ain't my war? We ain't at war, massa. I'm over here building. Y'all be at war. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do what y'all gotta do. Do I think certain things are okay and acceptable? No. In the same breath, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the fucking difference. You understand? I think some people like to focus on things they cannot change because that allows them to remain stagnant towards the things that they actually can change. If I'm over here focusing on some stuff that's like eons away from me, I don't have to look outside and say hi to my neighbor or build with my neighbor because I'm focusing on that all the way over there. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a cop-out. But that's just me and my personal interpretation because of how I would move, versus what someone else chooses to do. I digress. Let's move on to the MC line, y'all. So this is the last quadrant, y'all, and then I'm gonna read y'all out. Right? That's the order of operations. I'm gonna read y'all out. So when we started this lunar cycle, The MC line in our mind is in Virgo. So y'all already knew when we started this lunar cycle that if y'all wanted success, if y'all wanted whatever, y'all had to have a routine, you have to have a schedule, you have to learn about it, you got to speak on it, you got to harvest it. What you put in is what you're going to get out. We already knew this with that MC line in Virgo. In our energy exchanges, the MC line is in Leo. It was in Leo when we started this lunar cycle. So you can send a greeting to my grandma Kofa. Yeah. What kind of greeting would you like? In our energy exchanges, the MC line is sitting in Leo. So you had to have the confidence and the courageousness, the creativity, the self-centeredness. Being self-centered is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. Why would you not want to be self-centered? If I'm not self-centered, that means anybody can come into my space and be like, I don't like that. Change it. And I'll change it. Whether I liked it or not. No, I'm not changing because my existence or my choices. I'm not a malicious person. It's never in my intentions to hurt anybody's feelings, okay? I don't go out and say, ooh, let me call you a name to hurt your feelings. Let me treat you this kind of way to hurt your feelings. I find it crazy when people think it's okay to do it to me because I'm not like that. I'm not a malicious person. I'm not a mean girl. I've never been one. I don't. People can tell you all day long. People argue with me, call me all kinds of names, and if they really sit back and think about the energy exchange, they'll be like, yo, never not once did she call me a name. She didn't insult me. She didn't do it. Yeah, because I don't move like that. I'm not a malicious person. I don't have to move like that. I got people on the other side that'll do some shit to you. I don't have to do anything. I can be as light as I want to be. I can be as light as I want to be. And I want to be the lightest of them all. I want to be lighter than the motherfucking feather. You hear me? And I have the right to do so and to be so. And that's what I am. Y'all think y'all getting over on me? Y'all think y'all taking advantage of me? Y'all think it's cool to keep coming around and grabbing stuff and taking stuff and not giving back or whatever? I don't gotta do nothing or say nothing. Y'all got it. This person over here got something for your ass though. They don't like that shit. So that's that there. Okay? In the MC line, y'all already knew though. Y'all already knew y'all had to put in. And y'all had to come to a sense of, am I willing to put in what is required for me to have this thing? Some of y'all want some shit and y'all not willing to do the work. Y'all not willing to put in that energy. I will admit, as much as I love performing on stage, as much as I love doing this, I don't think I can handle having hundreds of people up here talking to me any kind of a way. I don't think I could handle having people thinking they know my business all the time and having opinions on my business. I'm not 100% there yet. I'm getting closer. As I'm definitely learning how close I'm getting to not caring, because I've been experiencing different experiences that are showing a mirror of how closer I'm getting to being okay with it. But I'm not 100% there. Okay? I'm aware of that. It's certain dreams that I have. You know, like when I was younger, I wanted to get into criminal justice. I wanted to get into forensics. I wanted to do these things. I wanted to get into politics and da-da-da. And I still have a part of me that wants to. You know? Because in my mind, it's like that's where you make the change on the physical world. You know what I'm saying? If I could bring my spiritual self into a political office, that would be cool. You know what I'm saying? Could I do that? And then my mind is also like, well, are you willing to make those kind of sacrifices right now to do those things? No, not right now. I have an 11-year-old that I'm still homeschooling, and I really want to prioritize that. And maybe 7 years from now, maybe even a little bit less than that, maybe 5-6 years from now, when he's in his teens and his work ethic. When his work ethic and his self-discipline is a little bit better, I would feel more comfortable to say, okay, I'm willing to, you know, sacrifice those hours and those days and that time to do that. But now, no, I'm the only person that homeschools my children. I don't have any support in that area of my life. If anything, I have people telling me that I shouldn't do it all day long, every September, every month, at least once a week. You know what I'm saying? Every year I have someone trying to make it difficult for me to homeschool my children. So that's the battlefield. If I'm going to look at it like a battlefield, that's the chess game that I'm playing right now more than anything, is homeschooling my children. I say I still homeschool my oldest child even though he's of legal age, because he's coming into adulthood. And now there's a gap here because I've only taught my child how to be private. And now I'm in the process of like, okay, so now that I've only taught my child how to be private, how is my child going to conduct himself in the world? How are we going to do this? And now I'm looking for guidance, and I can't find it because everybody wants to talk in parables and hoopla and come over here and sit through this for 8-9 weeks, and I don't want to do all of that. I don't need an easy button. I need direction and guidance. I don't want to sit at the foot of your pulpit to get certain information. Just point me in the direction. I'll figure it out for me and my sons. That's where I'm at. So that's the chessboard that I'm on. That's the chessboard that I prioritize. And everything else is the complement that chessboard at this period of time. Now, once I feel that my sons are settled, I might be willing to sacrifice that energy and that time to do those other things. That's how I move. That is all MC and Virgo in a nutshell. Okay, that's just me showing you a personal example. All right. And having the courageousness, because I've had to go to court to fight for my right to homeschool my children. I've had to go back and forth with family members and friends. And, you know, I've had to, you know, come out of character and talk to people crazy to justify me homeschooling my children, to get people to back down because you're not going to keep disrespecting me and crossing my boundaries. And like I said, I have to do it at least once a year. So, so that is definitely Leo on the MC line. And if that's not something that you're willing to do for something that you say that you want, then you don't really want that job. You don't really want that job. So let's have a real conversation with ourselves while we're in this lunar cycle. What are you willing to put in for what you're trying to get out? And are you confident and courageous enough to do it? Or are you waiting for someone to come and hold your hand to get it done? Certain things I'll be waiting for my hand to be held, and that's how I know I'm not ready. If I still want my hand to be held and I want to be led in certain things, then I'm not ready for that. I got to be willing to do it by myself. And if somebody come along and, you know, whatever, then cool. But that's not a requirement. That's a accessory. We have the hold on a second. We have the South Node here. So we have the South Node near the MC line. We have the 10th house, 11th house, and 12th house. So the 10th house, of course, is in Virgo in our mindset. So we already knew about the harvesting. We already knew about the routine and the schedule and the things that we need to get in order and learn about and speak on and manifest in our space. And this should have been, you know, it's something that we're very well versed in at this point in time with the South Node in Virgo in the 10th house. Utilizing that knowledge, that wisdom was going to help us, right? Mars is also here. There's a motivation there. Now, while that's happening in Virgo and our mindset and, you know, and our energy exchanges, it's happening in Leo. That confidence and courageousness, that fire, the Wands card to get it done. All right. Then we come into the 11th house. This is, you know, society. This, you know, us as a societal collective, whether we're attached or detached, that connectivity. And our mindset is in Libra. It's walking in our truth. So hopefully you guys did that starting this lunar cycle. We don't have any celestial bodies there. And our energy exchange, it does start off in Virgo and it ends off in Libra. So not only we start off in that equality energy, that harvesting energy, you know, with the 11th house. It ends off in our truth, in our balance and harmony. Okay? And then we end off in the 12th house before we get back to the ascension line. 12th house is endings, bringing things to a close. We got Lilith over there. Lilith, our primordial self, is closing doors, closing windows, closing relationships, closing bonds and contracts, closing organizations, communities, governments, currencies, closing corporations and businesses and LLCs and nonprofit organizations that's not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. Closing all of those things is what Lilith is doing. Lilith is doing it in Scorpius energy, in the 12th house, in our mind and in our spirit as a collective. That should be so self-assuring to you guys as we continue during this lunar cycle to see things undergo transformation. Lilith is sitting in Libra on our energy exchanges, creating those completions, endings. It's justice. It's justice for this shit to close and be done. It's justice. Stop crying on the plantation. Let it be gone. Is it inconvenient? A little bit, yeah, because some of us have gotten comfortable in the spoils of being slaves. Ain't that the same thing we read in the Torah when Moses, had the Exodus with the Israelites, and the Israelites had to be in the desert, and now they got to be self-accountable. Now they got to, they have to have certain practices and rituals, and now they got to grow their own food and make their own clothes and do all these things. And, now they have to do it in a space where they're really more self-accountable than what they were when they were being slaves in Egypt. And a lot of them couldn't handle it. So what did they do? They took the deity of their masters and was praying for that deity, and they wanted to go back to enslavement. That's what some of y'all are doing. Some of y'all want to go back to enslavement. What the fuck? Some of y'all want to go with Massa to Mars. And that's okay. Do that. It's okay. I ain't judging you. Less traffic in my lane. Because that's not what I'm trying to do. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I'm not trying to go to Mars with Massa to be under that new government they trying to build, and they gonna plant their flag in somebody else's land and do a whole bunch of hoopla where it's gonna work at, because it don't work here no more. We done uncovered all their magic and where they are spiritually and their spiritual activities and all that stuff like that. It's all being uncovered. It's all being unraveled. It ain't hard to tell. They are still trying because they do control the media, so they try to make it seem like, oh, it's theories and da-da-da-da-da, and it's okay. We're all spiritual beings. We all have our spiritual rituals. Some of them are weirder than others, okay? It is what it is. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate you. But Lilith is closing all of that. All of that is experiencing the endings of the 12th house. And it's experiencing it because it's justice, and it's supposed to happen. And it's bringing balance and order, and it's bringing that energy of my yacht back into the space. Now, that's how we started this lunar cycle, okay? So let's talk about how we're going to end it. Now, the MC to the AC line is way bigger by the time we get to this next lunar cycle, y'all. It was real small, now we real big. Now the MC line goes from 10, 11, 12, but now we're touching Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus, rather than, 2, 3, zodiacs. Now we're touching about 4 or 5. Okay. The MC line in our minds as well as in our spiritual self starts off in Aquarius by the time we get to the next lunar cycle. Power to be one with all, knowing your space in society, titles and the entitlements. Okay. It's success there. It's success there when you're tapped into your ketters, take those downloads, take action with them, etc., etc. The 10th house of success, there are no celestial bodies there. It is in Pisces, between Aquarius and Pisces, so closing those doors. The 10th house in our energy exchanges start off in Capricorn energy, so having a sense of authority, being aligned with authority. I'm rooting for authority of self, but I know a lot of you guys like to align with other empires and organizations and communities and things like that. As long as you're aligning with one that goes with your personal mission statement, you're good. But if you don't have a mission statement and you're just aligning with someone and they have a mission statement and you're adopting it as your own and stuff like that, like, if that's what works for you, cool. I can't imagine that working for me. That's not how I move. I have my own mission statement. It does not 100% align with anybody else's or anything else's mission statement, because I know I'm a fingerprint and I move in that. I align with a lot of different empires. I align with a lot of different communities and organizations and churches and temples and clubs and cliques and covens and stuff, because I'm the goddess of the crossroads, and that's what I do. I've been doing that since childhood. I was the kid that used to hop from lunch table to lunch table because I got along with everybody. That was me, and that's still me. okay? And that's always going to be me. That's my superpower. That's what I know how to do. I know how to unite, and I know how to talk to everybody. I that. You know what I'm saying? Imagine having a problem with somebody like that. It is what it is. I think a lot of people's problem with me is because they can't control me, because they can't put me in their box, because they can't be like, join my club and only my club. Like, because they can't do that, I think that's people's biggest problem with me. And I don't care. That, some people love being oppressed and put in a box so much that when they come around other people and they feel like they have the power to do that, they will do that. And, all you're doing is reflecting the energy of your master. And that's cute. Doesn't work here, though. So when we get into the 11th house, now we're in that space of society and our attachment skills and all that fun stuff. We get into our purpose and our humanitarian self, our revolutionary ideas, our unique self. That 11th house in our mind as well as in our spiritual self starts off in Pisces energy and it flows into Aries. On the draconic side, it starts in Pisces. It covers Aries and then it flows into Taurus. So the 11th house actually covers 3 signs on the spiritual level because that's how big our order is, right? And so we start off with endings, come into new beginnings, and then we get fixed in what we manifest thereafter. And we have the South Node there. We have Saturn and Neptune there in the 11th house of our revolutionary self. So authority and your intuition, your dreams, your subconscious, things hidden beneath the horizon, all things hidden, bringing things to an ending, but your dreams is where you're going to get a lot of your challenges and stuff like that. Y'all be careful with the things y'all intake. I wouldn't do too much that makes you forget your dreams or detach from your dreams. Your dreams are important because you carry them in your waking life and they're a part of your auric body. There's certain things that's being sprinkled in that legal marijuana and stuff like that that's detaching and erasing y'all dreams, and it's messing y'all up when y'all come into this place, and it's a lot of different information and energy and connections and stuff like that you have in your dreams that you're supposed to bring into this waking life because they're not separate. They're the same thing. You're the same thing. You're one with all of it. And it keeps that separation because when you wake up, you can't remember your dreams. You can't even remember why you walked in a room. You're letting the threshold erase your memory and stuff like that. So be mindful of things. Not all weed, because I know some of y'all that's addicted to it to be like, nah, I'm never giving up the blunt. Like, okay, cool. Don't give up the blunt. My bad. But for some of you guys that want to do something a little different, and y'all realize that Saturn and Neptune are together, and if you want to look at it from a positive standpoint, you can put it as a positive standpoint as you can manifest with your dreams right now. You can create you can root your dreams into the physical right now with that connection of Saturn, that being an understanding, and Neptune, that chesed of Maya. They can align together. So you can dream it, you create it, you allow your dreams to be your authority, get into the subconscious itself, close the doors with a lot of stuff that's been sitting in your root that no longer serve you, and, get into the subconscious root of a lot of things, because not everything is on the surface level of, oh, that's this family. There's certain family bloodlines that you don't even know about yet. You know what I'm saying? You got to go into that Neptunian part of yourself to get in tune with it. I remember mostly every dream, but sometimes I remember I dream, but don't remember the exact details. Okay. I mean, that's cool. That's a balance too. Because, when you get into your personal Neptune and your moon and align that with the Neptune and the moon of the collective, it's certain periods of time where you're not going to remember your dreams because the frequency ain't open for you to do that. You know what I'm saying? The way certain planets are lined up. Sometimes it's just not for you. And then there's certain times where it's like, the whole day is the dream, you know what I'm saying? So that's all cycles and flows. If you're in a cycle or a flow that feels comfortable to you, then go for it. But if you are not, if you're in a space where you feel like you're fighting to remember a dream because a part of you really wants to remember it and it's not happening, then there are some measures you need to take. Certain things that are affecting your physical Neptune and your physical moon. Might want to either intake or reduce the intake, play around with that. You are your psychiatrist, okay? It's your world. And that's in, you know, in our mind, it's in Aries energy, those placements, and our energy exchanges is in Pisces. So we're still dealing with the hidden things. Then we get into the 12th house. The 12th house in our mind starts in Aries. We got Chiron there on the 12th house. Some wounds coming to a close in our minds. You guys been doing a good job as a collective with our wounds, learning how to heal them, healing them as a person, a human, a native, whatever nationality, tribe, community, family, bloodline, whatever your gender is, your sex, whatever. We've been doing a really good job of healing those collective Chiron wounds and creating new beginnings with them. Kudos to you all. In our spirit of things, Chiron is still sitting in Taurus energy in that 12th house. So it's in what we value and what we prioritize, love and forgiveness. So the Chiron has moved forward, but in our mind as well as in our body, we're still in that space of new beginnings. So our spirit is already building onto the next thing, which is really cool. When I predict that when Chiron reaches Taurus in the Vedic chart, that's when we're gonna start getting our quote unquote reparations in the physical. Because it's only right that you transmute those material wounds into strengths by, you know, giving what is owed. And if we utilize this Chiron energy correctly, because right now Chiron is at a 26-degree Aries in the tropical in our mind, so we're slowly making our way to the Taurus, you know, zodiac. That'll open up the portal between the tropical and the draconic, and we got to start visualizing, start thinking about what we want as a collective, what we deserve, what needs to be get brought back to us. That design. A lot of you guys want land. You want to grow your own food. You want to grow your own medicine. You want to have your own schools. This is all designing. This is all Taurus energies, which we value and prioritize as a collective, right? Don't wait until we're in a position where the powers that be, because you know they love to control our root chakra and they love to control our chakras, period. But that by their entitlement to our root, they try to control our solar plexus chakra. Don't wait until they find a way to do that with this Chiron placement for y'all to be like, oh, we got to hurry up and grow our own food. We can't afford the food. They poison all the food. Don't wait till that. Be proactive rather than reactive. You said something key about the dreams and the auric bodies and what to intake. That's dope. Thank you. I do my best. But we have Chiron here in the 12th house. It is creating new beginnings for us. And then we move into Uranus. Uranus is providing the expansions in the 12th house for us. There's certain things that need to close, need to come to an ending, or certain things in our subconscious on the spiritual aspect, in our spiritual line, you know, just like we have a bloodline DNA code, we got a spiritual code as well, the spiritual DNA code as well, and there's some expansion happening there. You might see like new human with the extra DNA strand. We're making new, and yeah, we got these weirdos that like to make AI do everything or do everything from a petri dish. They come from they're artificial people, so it's only righteous that they only know how to build artificial things. That's their reality. Let them live in their reality. If you're not into the artificial and you don't do the artificial, you don't like artificial flavoring, you don't like artificial intelligence, you don't like artificial spirituality, artificial art, artificial whatever, don't engage in it. Don't engage in it. We're here for the organic. We're here for the natural. We're here for the indigenous. We're here for the native. We're here for the connectivity to nature, not artificial. Okay? And so, if you know, or some of you guys like to have a balance. Some of y'all want to, you know, straddle between two worlds. You can do that too. It's your reality. Do whatever you want to do. Okay? But Uranus here is here to expand. So you will have some people, you know, creating the petri dish babies and robots and stuff and giving them extra strands of DNA and extra neurons and, you know, more access to the memory map and the dendrites sending extra messages and all that. You'll see that on an artificial level. But don't get it twisted and think it's not happening organically either. We are building new DNA strands in our body, okay? We are tapping into the dormant DNA strands. We are tapping into the dormant mental codes and all that stuff like that. That's also happening. It's not just happening on a technological robot level, okay? Yes, the news and the media is only going to give light to that level because that's the level they care about, and they want to make you feel like organic, natural, from the earth is inferior. You know, that's the whole point. When have they not moved like this? This is not a new play. They literally make the same chess moves all the time. It's actually boring at this point. Like, how many different ways are you going to allow someone to keep making you feel like you're inferior if you're not in tune with their artificial shit? Like, we're just not going to keep doing that. We're not going to keep doing that. So allow Uranus to show you guys the duality of the expansion, okay? It's not just AI. It's happening organically as well. And you will see it. It's new planets coming up, new asteroids, new comets, new meteor showers every year. It's going to be a new closer planet. Y'all think all the planets is past Pluto? Some of the planets are even closer. New stars, new suns, new moons coming into play, new lands coming out of the water, new seas being created, new boundaries, new currencies, new languages, new tribes are going to be discovered, new artifacts, new, like, it's happening everywhere, okay? It's happening everywhere. And that's the above and below. And it's also happening within. Your body is undergoing new things too, because your body is, there's no beginning or end. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they say, what do they say? Like, if you choke somebody and they can't breathe, what's the first thing that they lose? Their consciousness. They lose their consciousness because that's the connection. That's the in and outside. You know what I'm saying? There is no beginning or end to me and you. You know? So that's that there. I for sure appreciate your insight on this topic. I remember something that Bobby said in his Artificial Human series or lecture. I love Bobby Hemmett. Bobby Hemmett brings me joy. The fact that you even said I gave insight and then said Bobby Hemmett in the same breath was like, Sunshine, are you doing it? I think I'm doing it. Thank you. But yeah, so that's what I got for you guys for, this lunar cycle as far as the tropical Vedic Draconic chart. Now, I don't, like y'all know, I don't give y'all too many cheats because I do the mathematics every day. But I did want to tell you a little bit about what's going on. So, just to give y'all a little insight, we are, the moon's going to be real big on the 5th too. Saturn and Neptune will be 100% like in conjunction on the 6th. Eros, which is our love self, will be a Taurus zodiac on the 7th. The moon and Pluto will be in alignment on the 8th. The full moon is on the 9th. So it will be, the full moon is when the moon is in opposition. So while the sun is in Cancer constellation, the moon will be in Capricorn constellation. Earth is in between. And we enjoy it here. It's fun. Mercury will go prograde on the 10th. So the next few days is going to be busy in the stars. Then the moon will be in alignment with Neptune and Saturn on the 12th. It gets kind of quiet on the 11th. We get a free day. And on the 12th, moon and Neptune and Saturn will be in alignment. Venus and Jupiter will also be in alignment on that day as well. So we got a lot of conjunctions happening with our third eye and our heart. Emotions might be kind of crazy on the 12th because that's a day of 3. Then we have Ceres will go retrograde. Ceres is like a dwarf planet or an asteroid that's synonymous with Virgo energy, agriculture, nurturing, nourishing the mom and daughter relationship. You know the divine be right on time. Always. So Ceres will be repeating some degrees for us in the Cetus constellation on the 15th. The first quarter moon will be on the 16th. That'll be Taurus Aries moon. So moon and Pallades will be in alignment. That's when we get from wanting gibbous to wanting crescent. So now we're going to start cleansing our intangible things, but we got to look on our wounds before we do it. So the 16th will be a big wound healing. Like, pay attention to your wounds on that day so you know exactly what to clean once we enter wanting crescent moon. The sun will enter Leo constellation on the 17th, literally the next day. So we'll have a nice opening of the sun being in Leo on the tropical, Vedic, and Draconic chart for a couple days. All right. I don't want to give y'all too much. I feel like I gave y'all enough. And then, of course, the new moon is on the 23rd, and that's when the sun will also enter Virgo zodiac on that day. That new moon will be like 1 degree Virgo on that day. So we have that happening. And then I ain't gonna give y'all everything. I'm still thinking, what else am I gonna give y'all? On the 25th, the moon and Mars will be in alignment. So you'll have that motivation towards movement with your solar plexus chakra. And then we got the Virgo moon around the 26th. So we'll have Parima and Spica in alignment with the moon. You want to harvest and get your prophecies in order around that time. And I ain't gonna give y'all that. None of that. Y'all just gotta tap in for the daily mathematics. And I'm gonna stay on my square and my spiral. As far as September goes, Uranus goes in retrograde on the 5th of September. The full moon is on the 7th of September. It's also a lunar eclipse. We're coming right back into the eclipse season. Adonis, I don't know if you're still in here, but you want to do something? We have a partial solar eclipse on the 21st. I'm in Memphis right now. I love it here. This is where my maternal family is from. I like it. I'm having a good time. And then it's crazy because now that I'm in Memphis, all this information about Memphis is coming out to me in my reality, like not intentionally either. It's just like all this like stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm where I need to be. It's good. But the partial solar eclipse is on the 21st, and that's also the new moon, and that's gonna be a good time because my birthday is on the 19th. Gang gang. I was actually born on the eclipse, y'all. Then we have the autumn equinox. So like the 21st to the 22nd is very spiritual. I'll be outside. I suggest camping, grounding yourself. Y'all want to do some shrooms, like whatever it is y'all need to do. That is a great time to set your intentions and flow into the next cycle, because we're exiting out the harvest season and we're going back into the planting. Pallas will go prograde because Pallas is in retrograde now. That's the asteroid that rules over your genius-like qualities and your problem-solving skills that you keep overlooking about yourself, like you're not the shit. But they go back prograde on 24th, so we'll be repeating those degrees for the third time. And then Karma will enter the Virgo constellation on the 5th as well, which is a big deal. So y'all keep playing in Virgo faces. Y'all keep doing weird stuff with Virgo. It's not a good time for that. Karma is in Virgo. Mars is in Virgo. It's not a good time for that. I don't know why y'all keep doing it. But that's what I have there. So we done went over the horoscopes. We went over the lunar cycle. We did a little planetary forecast. Now I'm about to read y'all out. All right? You ready to get read out? Usually, well, on Wednesdays I go elemental. Am I going elemental today? A part of me is like, nah, do the elementals, do the elementals, do the elementals. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to chat elementals while I pull the cards. But the cards is going to be for everybody. Because my dog is trying to jump through the window. I don't know what his problem is. He's right. And we thank you. We love it here. I'm so glad y'all love it here. I love it here too. And so, we'll start with my water babies. For my water tribe, y'all got some expanding planets. Let's see. Yeah, y'all got Lilith over there being fixed. Y'all definitely tapping into your primordial self is cool, especially with Lilith over there in fixed water. Ooh, that's a good memory. I would do like water, some type of water invocation or whatever for yourself. Okay, so that's good there to get into your primordial self and create some endings and make space for new things on your multiple lives and stuff like that. Pisces is over there experiencing like Neptune and Saturn, you know, manifesting with that waters, those waters, that's the mutable waters. You could build with that one. And then with the cardinal waters, you have Jupiter over there. So you have your expansion and your joy and stuff and your nurturing self. Also in your vortex of what you attract. So, yeah, the waters is good for invocation. The waters is also good for getting into your primordial self to invocate. I would definitely tap into the water energy. So my water babies, y'all might be the go-to person. If y'all find yourself attracting water signs in y'all space, those energies might very well be very familiar to you. It might be somebody you need to close some things with or open some things into or whatever, or they might have invoked you. But yeah, water energy is on the forefront when it comes to that kind of thing. When we get into air, you know, air is with the knowledge and the intellect, news, information and stuff. Air can't really be bottled up. Air has Pluto, so you know air is still undergoing the transformations in their space. Air also has Mars, so it has that motivation. Air is very heavy on the solar plexus chakra. Y'all be mindful how y'all communicate with these air babies. Some of these airs might be overactive in their solar plexus chakra right now with the I said Mars, my bad. Venus is over there. But they might be overactive with the solar plexus chakra, with Pluto being there, and then they have their feelings there, and then Uranus is providing the progressive pushes. A lot of changes happening in our intellect and what we know and what we think. Could also be flowing into your beliefs too, but that's when we get back into the water. And the water is more so cleansing and, you know, tapping into our ancestral lineage and our ancestor selves. Because when you get into your ancestral lineage, you're just not just, but you're also channeling parts of yourself, makeups of yourself that make you in the here and now. Okay, so the water is more so in that area right now, while the air is, you know, giving us the progressive pushes and the transformations that we need, helping us walk into our truth. So that might be what's happening to you, air babies, is people is revealing themselves around you about who they really are and what they really got going on. You know, you take that knowledge and you utilize it accordingly. I wouldn't sweat too much on it. Allow it to empower you rather than allowing it to, you know, knock you down. And that's just in the thoughts of the things. Because I was only addressing the tropical. Now, when we get into the fire, you know, that's the wands, the motivation, getting it going, taking action. You know, we started the lunar with the sun, moon, and Mercury over there in Leo. So confidence and courageousness is definitely key for your experiencing your decision-making skills. If you're not confident about it, please don't do it. Don't even waste your time. Don't waste people's time around you. If you're not willing to harvest what you need, you know, to have it, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. In Aries, we have Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron. So we are, you know, getting to the root of our wounds. You know, some of them are your subconscious, some of them are your dreams, some of them are your secrets. Some people got hidden agendas. You know, they come around, they try to pick at your wounds and all that stuff like that. Don't let them. You know what I'm saying? You have the power to manifest what's in your subconscious. Don't let nobody try to create what's in your subconscious. That's your shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening there. Now, even though that's in fire on our mindset, don't forget that that's still in water on our energy exchanges. And we talked about that. That's a cleansing space in our energy exchanges. So in our mindset, we take an action. So you're thinking about how you want to take action. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking about how you want to motivate yourself and stuff like that. While your energy exchange is like, okay, we're like nesting for those actions that we want to take place. Okay? There's nothing in Sagittarius energy, but don't get twisted, because the first house is still there. Our overall energy is on that expansion, abundance, joy, philanthropy, giving to others. You know, we see that backpack giveaways, school drives, coat giveaway. We about to start giving stuff away, clothes giveaway, sales, and all that. We're in the season of that. Okay. When it comes to the fire on the Vedic, we still don't have anything in Sagittarius. We just have Chiron and Aries being motivated to transmute our wounds into a strength. And then in Leo, we have the South Node and Mars motivating us out of our comfort zone. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and move towards that Piscean energy, towards something different. You know what I'm saying? So we have that happening there. And then by the time we get to the end of this lunar cycle, y'all should be feeling more so ready to make decisions, because your Mercury will be in Leo in your thought process. You should think more confidently on the decisions that you got to make. Saturn and Neptune are still in Aries. We have balance and harmony and truth, the DC line sitting in Sagittarius at that point. So you should be well more grounded to take action on things. People think that we take action during the summertime and we be doing all this activity in the summertime, but honestly we don't. In the summertime, it's more so building up our confidence. You know what I'm saying? Building up, you know, because Leo fire is fixed fire. You know, that's not like an Aries or a Sagittarius. That's more so kind of like we're sitting here. That's why that Leo kind of has like that lazy energy, or summer is long and everybody's kind of like sweltering and da-da-da. Because it's kind of like you're experiencing, you're receiving, you're opening your hands. You meet Leos, they're like, you know, why are you not giving me this? Leos are, you know, good opportunists if they move correctly in their power, right? And so you have that, you know, that's not what the summer is for. Now, when you get to Sagittarius, you're like expanding and growing. When you're in Aries, the flowers are blooming. When we're in Leo, it's kind of like it's time to receive. You know, sit back. You know, allow yourself to do things. Do things. On the Vedic chart, we will have the sun and moon there, putting us in a reception spirit. So that's fun. And then last, most not least, we have Earth. Earth is the last one, right? Because I did, yeah. So when we start off the season in the Earth, this lunar cycle in Earth, you know, we have the MC line. Success was on Virgo. So harvesting is definitely preparing yourself for the harvest season as we prepare ourselves for the lunar. We got a new year coming up on 9/11. We have, you know, the equinox. We're closing our harvest season. We have, you know, the new moon over there. We start coming down to Libra, which brings us down into beneath the horizon on the astrology lines if you're dealing with the fixed houses. All those kind of things. So kind of like in this space, we're like preparing ourselves for it. We're getting ready for it. You know, we're wrapping things up, all that stuff. But you guys are very getting your mindset in that harvest season, you know, preparation. You know, Family Dollar already got the Halloween stuff up. They don't play no games. We got the DC line. So being in our truth and what we want to materialize and our balance of what we materialize and what we feel with that DC line and Taurus is heavy. And then we have Capricorn energy. We don't have any placements there, but the second house is there. So there is a sense of valuing, prioritizing, and a sense of a spotlight being on, you know, that sense of authority, that structure, what we're rooted in and stuff like that. So, you know, we're preparing ourselves to be more in our earth-like manner, for real. Now, in the energy exchanges of things, we didn't start off the cycle with any placements in Virgo. However, we did have the 10th house of success and the 11th house of power and revolutionary energy in Virgo. So it is still power energy happening there as we prepare for harvest, to flow back into the beginning of the harvest cycle. Uranus is over there and Taurus energy giving us the progressive pushes in the material world to, you know, situate or resituate what we value and prioritize. And then Pluto is creating those transformations in Capricorn, uprooting and providing us with some truths of what we've been rooted in. Some of us have been rooted in some crazy stuff. Now, by the time we get to the end of this lunar cycle, with the earth energy, we have the 12th house of endings. There's no celestial bodies, but we're closing some things out in what we value or prioritize in Taurus by the time we get to the end of this. Virgo energy has the sun and moon in it as we have the new moon in Virgo. We also, it's a Leo Virgo new moon. And then we also have the node here. So getting into, you know, our spiritual tribe is heavy here on the earth realm. And then 8th house of transformation is still happening and Capricorn energy. And the Vedic chart, our energy exchanges, Mars will be entering Virgo energy during this lunar cycle. So motivation coming towards the harvest. We're going to feel it heavy because by the time we get to the 23rd of this month, Mercury will be in 16 degrees Virgo. So it'll be fixed. It'll be literally in the middle of the fixed quadrant. Well, the fixed part, trident, I guess, the fixed trident of Virgo energy. So definitely motivating and moving us to that harvest energy. And of course Uranus will still be giving us a progression, the progressive pushes that we need, and that's happening in the 12th house of endings. So closing some things and what we value and prioritize. So earth energy, it seems like it's going through that cycle of transformations, cleansing some things out, making things for renewal, and showing you guys some of the things that get removed that you guys didn't really need that or want that or desire that anyway. So, you know, don't work on your attachment. Earth babies. That's what that's there. The attachment of it all. And then one more thing. So I don't want to get into it too much with the Lionsgate because I am getting back into my lives with you guys, but I did want to talk about it a little bit, especially because you brought it up, Truth. The Lionsgate, astronomically speaking. So when we get into the summertime, it's a false. I have my theories. Okay. Am I an astronomer? Have I gone outer space? No, but I would like to. We'll see how that goes. I have my theories about our ability to go into outer space as well. Another talk for another time. However, being present in my space, my thoughts, the sun is not always by itself. There's periods of time during the cycle where the sun is in alignment with other stars. Okay, just like the Earth is, or the Moon is, or other planets are. You're not going to convince me everything around us can be in alignment with other stars but our sun. I'm just not buying it. During the summertime, the Sirius star gets closer and closer to the sun. By the time we get to August 8th, it will be at its conjunction. It'll be 100%, at its smallest distance from each other. The Sirius star and and our sun, our Solaris, whatever we want to call it. And that's why the Diary of a Wimpy Kid is always the first thing that comes to my mind, because they have called dog days. And that's why they call the summertime the dog days, because Sirius star is the dog star. It represents the dog. And so that is when we have Sirius star aligning. That is the cycle of Sirius star in alignment with our sun. Now, after this, which is kind of like the solstice of Sirius, if you will, you'll start to see less and less of Sirius until we get to the winter solstice. And then, it's super cold. And my theory is that's what makes it so hot, is the fact that Sirius star is getting in alignment with our sun. That is what's projecting the heat. Outside of that, our sun isn't that powerful. Our sun is not that hot. You know what I'm saying? The Doggone tribe does have a ritual. I believe it's every 52 years is when Sirius star replaces our sun. And instead of it being behind or next to our sun, it's actually in front of our sun. And that is another cycle that you can get into. I believe that 2036 is the next ritual that the Doggone tribe. And that just comes to show that we are not as primitive and uncivilized and goofy about astrology as a lot of people would like to make us believe. We did utilize astrology. We had superior knowledge, because for the Doggone tribe during BC time to even know about Sirius star, and then not only did they know about Sirius star, they knew that Sirius star was broken down into 4 stars. NASA just now figuring that the fuck out. Wanna know why? Because they're always trying to throw away our information to replace it with their information, and they don't even know shit. This is why I'm saying don't get caught up in that artificial intelligence. I don't know if y'all notice when y'all Google stuff, that AI response before y'all even get to articles and stuff like that is trash, and it's always false information. I pray for the children who do not know how to research or don't like the research and stop at that AI generated response, because it is almost always false. Now, let's get back to Lionsgate. Lionsgate is the alignment of the sun with Sirius star in Orion's belt. Orion is the star of protection and strength. Orion is up there with the flora and the fauna and living its best life and da-da-da. When you have the alignment with our Leo sun, which represents riches and royalty and being regal, with the Sirius star, the dog star is about loyalty. You know what I'm saying? And you have that in alignment with Orion's belt, which is about protection and strength. That is a Lionsgate opening. Okay, I think that's super cool. When I think about my son, I think he was born when he was supposed to be born, but his due date was actually August 8th. He was born July 25th, but he's a 22 life path, and he's also born during the year of dog. So his Chinese zodiac is a dog. So he is a Leo dog. I think he's a divine alignment. When I think of the Lionsgate opening, I think of my son. He seems like the perfect constellation of the Lionsgate opening. That's how I see my above and below. You see it however way you want. But that essentially is what Lionsgate is, astronomically speaking. And you make the astrology, interpretations based upon what you want to receive. You know what I'm saying? I focus on the regal part of it and the protection and the strength, because that's what I want to receive. You might focus on power and being on a throne, and because that's what you want to receive. Like it's whatever you want. Okay, but that's what the alignment is. That's what Lionsgate is about. It is at its peak on the 8th, around that time. And when I do the daily mathematics around that time, we'll get into it even more. So, to pull the cards for you guys, the theme for today is initiation. We are on the cacao. 38, 3 and 8. We love it. That's tomorrow, y'all. That brings us to 11, a sense of mastery, expressing the transformations that's happening in our space. We're going to focus on our Uranus and our Mars placements. That's what it says. Uranus and Mars, the progressive pushes. No, I keep mixing up Mars and Venus symbol. I gotta stop that. It's Uranus and Venus. Progressive pushes to our heart. That's why it's cacao, because cacao helps with the heart. So progressive pushes to what you value, what you prioritize. We are going to seek professional assistance with whatever it is that we're trying to do this lunar cycle. I know y'all love to do everything by yourself. Your social media influencers told you that you have to do everything by yourself, and if you're not, you're inadequate, you're slow, you're dumb, you're not a good influencer, you're not a good business owner, you're not a good... Listen, we are designed to be a community, a conglomerate. There is no bond stronger than H2O or H3O. Let's get into it. Y'all want to get into it today? Let's get into it today. You know? But you need the H and the O in order for the bond to be there. So if you want those strength in those bonds, you need to learn how to align with other people and ask for help. It's not just about you by yourself. I am getting professional assistance with my business, with my nonprofit. I am getting professional assistance with my credit. I am getting, listen, I need help. Who gonna help me? You know what I'm saying? I'm always helping people. Who's helping me? That's how y'all need to start moving. Not to take advantage of people, not to walk into some new person's life and feel like they owe you because of what you do for such and such over here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, go get your professional help with whatever it is you're trying to work on. You're not supposed to be doing that by yourself. Don't do it by yourself. It won't serve you to do it by yourself. Then I have, now this I pulled in reverse. It's the Queen of Chalices. Now this might be hurting y'all feelings, what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe that's why y'all need the progressive pushes in y'all Venus. Some of y'all heart is hard to asking for help or to get assistance. I don't know why. Work on that. Fix that. Because getting assistance is a part of being on the throne. I don't know no queens that's out here doing stuff by themselves. Queens used to be having a whole conglomerate of maidens around them. They didn't do nothing by themselves. They didn't have to. So I don't know where that mindset is. If I'm a queen, if I'm a goddess, if I'm a king, if I'm a god, if I'm in power, I don't get help. That's not. You get the most help. But what are we talking about? You get all the help. What are you talking about? Don't let these slave drivers on YouTube convince y'all don't need or don't deserve help. That's weird. Now, what parts of stuff are we going to focus on? I got the Ace of Cups for y'all. We're going to focus on our Ketters, our first sphere, okay, our star. This is the knowledge. This is the download that we get. This is what we're focusing on our lunar cycle. And we're going to bring it down to assist us with our root chakra and the insecurities we have in our root chakra that got us sitting like this, making us feel like we don't deserve help. Okay? That's what we're going to work on. All right? So get the downloads, work on that Chiron. We talked about the Chiron, right? We talked about the Uranus and Taurus energy providing us the progressive pushes in our heart, right? So work on that. Listen, needing help and asking for help does not make you small. Work on that insecurity. I don't know what little demon told you that, or what little demon was carrying that in their heart and projected it upon you, and now you absorbing it. I tell you this, in my reality, I have an issue with asking people for stuff, because I used to be the kid that my mom would send to ask for stuff. Oh, can you knock on the neighbor door and ask them if I can have this? Go ask your grandma if I can have this. And I used to hate that, because when I would knock on the door, I would listen to all the huffing and puffing. You talking shit about my mom to my face like I'm not a fucking kid, like she didn't send me over here. If you got something to say to my mom, say it to her face. Don't say it to my face. She sent me over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you gonna give it to me to give it to her or not? Like, you know? And I didn't like that. I didn't like the stuff that I would hear. I would never say shit like that out loud. I would just listen. But I was absorbing that. And I always said to myself, nobody will ever talk about me like that. And nobody will ever feel comfortable talking to me like that. And so I created that in my space. Became an insecurity. Ain't nobody gonna talk about me the way they talked about my mama. Ain't nobody gonna talk about me the way they talked about my dad. Because they demanded their village to be a fucking village. And these same people is the people that called my phone and asked me to be their village. Like I ain't listened to them badmouth my mother for years. Or badmouth my father for years for needed help. It's weird how things turn around, don't they? But I'm healing that in me. You know what I'm saying? I've healed a lot of it in me to where I'm not afraid to ask for help. in certain breaths with certain people, I know not to ask for help because you're the people that I'm chatting about. You know what I'm saying? And those be the people that be begging me to ask them for help so they can be like that. No. So that was a game I had to learn how to play, and now I'm playing the game, and now I'm telling y'all, find a balance in that. No, you can't go around asking everybody for help. Some of these people are little demons. But that doesn't mean that you don't deserve help and you don't deserve your village. They just don't deserve to be in it. Okay? It's a privilege for someone to assist you. It's a privilege for someone to support you. It's a privilege for someone to be in your personal space well enough to know where you need assistance at. That's why when y'all come to me for readings, I always say thank you. Thank you for the trust. It's an honor to do a reading for you. It's an honor to have this session. It's an honor to make this piece of jewelry for you. It's an honor that you let me into your energy, because it is. And that's how you should be thinking when you ask people for help. It's an honor for you to assist me. It's an honor that I'm even calling you, letting you into my personal space for you to be of support, for you to be of some help. Because if you ain't useful, you useless. And how weak is a soul that's useless? You understand? All right. When you guys ask me for help, it's because you see something in me. You see strength. You see pillar. You see capabilities. You see abilities. You see capacity. That's an honor. It's an honor when y'all summon me. That's how y'all need to see it. I see something in you. If you don't realize that I see something in you, and this, that, and the third, and you think it's okay to be like this, when I'm giving you honor and trust, that's crazy work to me. They're not on your vibration. They don't deserve to be in your village. Don't never let them create no fucking insecurity in your root chakra ever again, or anybody else for that matter. We don't welcome that. The hidden hand is always trying to break apart the community. It don't matter what kind of community they want to tear it apart. They do, because they don't see us as whole when we're individuals. They know how strong we are together. They see us as weak when we're apart. However, if you got the mindset that I'm strong whether I'm together or apart, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. You might as well just give up and give in. Even apart, even by us not living together as a unit in each other's physical space, they created this social media platform, right? They created this social media platform, and they made it difficult for the average individual to communicate. How you on a communication platform and now you no longer know how to communicate? These kids can't write, they can't read. All they know how to do is text to speak. They don't know how to research. They don't know how to read somebody else's information with comprehension and critical thinking skills. They don't know how to do none of that shit. That's the average individual. Now, what happened to us? We got better at it. We got better at it. We learned how to travel through these ones and zeros. We learned how to absorb information. We've gained better energy exchanges. We've expanded our tribe. My connectivity takes me to other countries now, other continents now, other states. When once upon a time I was just stuck in my neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So it's certain individuals, yeah, that shit worked on. It didn't work on everybody though. It will never work on everybody. That's what makes them mad. That's the 1% they keep trying to imitate. They keep trying to imitate that 1% they can't defeat. But even with that 1% they created with all them weird ass rituals they do and all that stuff like that, they still can't get with it. They still can't imitate it. You know what I'm saying? They still can't do it. And they're not going to. They're going to keep trying. It's like Team Rocket. Y'all going to keep trying every fucking episode. It's not going to work. We still know how to write letters and send them off. I still write letters. I got pen pals. You know what? This whole AI situation, all this internet stuff, it made me appreciate writing letters even more. I write letters to people. I think that that's important. I think letters are a part of history. I remember as a kid reading books that were created by letters written amongst people, or reading books that were created by journals, you know, people writing in their diaries. I say keep writing letters. That's important. And then here is incomplete. You see how we got the hut in the village is incomplete. We gotta bring back the community. We definitely gotta bring back the community on this one. And it comes from getting out of this. We ain't listening to this little demon no more. We're going to get out of our feelings. We're going to take the downloads from the Ketters. Allow yourself to align with familiar souls and kindred spirits. Remember, when y'all run into water-like energy, that's most likely going to be some type of deja vu, familiar energy, something tapped into your ancestral, probably opening up some DNA strands, some dendrites, some hidden things, secrets. If y'all run into the air is undergoing transformations. The air is undergoing, you know, a lot of progressive pushes and things right now. Earth is preparing for harvest. What you put into the earth is what you're going to get out. Water is walking into its power and learning how to structure. What did I miss? I missed somebody. Fire. Fire is focused on the experiences and the intuition. All right? Experiences and intuition in the actual community itself. All right? So that's what we got on our elements. That's what I got from my reading. I done went through it all with y'all. We done went through the horoscopes. We went through the planetary forecast. I gave y'all some cheats for even September, y'all. And I read y'all out. So I'm going to let y'all go. I really appreciated this. I'll probably be back on in like an hour or so we can go over the tour. I've been doing really good with staying on my routine. I'm trying to stay on that with getting my things done throughout the day, but you know, still being flexible at the same time, which is why I wanted to do this kind of early. Because I keep saying I'm going to do this late at night, but then by the time the night come, I'm all comfortable and I don't really want to talk. I done sat here with y'all for 3.5 hours almost. I wouldn't have did this late at night. I'd have been like, girl. Because lately I've been putting my energy back in me and my personal experience. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all know I do a daily mathematics. We talk about this on a daily basis. And I'll be coming back into my daily lives with you guys as well. I love y'all so much. Peace to y'all over on YouTube. It's been real.